except the payments and of the watches and that's one just about voting. My question was, when Wikileaks had released the emails of a particular former presidential candidate who also served as Secretary of State and was a former First Lady, I'll let you figure out what I'm talking about. There was a FOIA request in the deleted email. It requested the location of the King of Gilgamesh and the Nephilim Resurrection Chamber. And I'm wondering if this is related to the true reason that we went to war in Iraq and the artifacts that we tried to recover when the looting of the Baghdad Museum occurred.
You heard those stories too, did you not? Yeah, and I got to be careful how I say this, but during a certain period, I was basically being given real-time data. For instance, let's talk about Saddam Hussein's, the Baghdad Museum and what was in the basement. Tom Horn, the author, had his house burned down because someone was giving him emails and sending him faxes of the artifacts. And George, they had giants, but the Tomb of Gilgamesh is really one of the most important things because the live extraction, and I'm using the word live extraction of living DNA. Now, Gilgamesh was 2/3 fallen angel and 1/3 man. I don't know how that works, but usually it's half and half. But because of the exploits, it's the oldest poetic narrative in the world, the Tomb of Gilgamesh was truly found. You can even look it up on an internet search, and the BBC carried the first story of it. But all of the artifacts, Saddam Hussein had a private museum that he would show his close friends of some of the most powerful, unusual weapons. And why they never used them, I don't know. But the whole thing about the giants, and I think people need to understand this, his presence in the location of the Tigris Euphrates, specifically the Euphrates River, we even had YouTube, as the river went down due to drought, and about Euphrates, that obviously they were hearing demons and groaning from caves, but the real biblical relevance of it is under the Euphrates River. There are basically chained, powerful fallen angels, and when they're loose, they're not loose yet, basically billions of people die. So all of this stuff fits together, and there's a controlled narrative in archaeology, there's a controlled narrative in anthropology. I remember going to war with my anthropology teacher, because when you study anthropology and you understand all the hoaxes, the point is they cannot make the conclusions, they cannot draw the conclusions based on the little evidence. And there's a statement, extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. Our film, the lives of men and gods, the amount of artifacts dug up on the camera, in provenance established, people can't get away from that. But what they can do, the controllers, they can control the false narrative and history. It was in the jungles of Mexico, not in where the artifacts were dug up, and he was showing a spacecraft that looked like a long, basically asteroid that was suspended in the air, kind of like the Independence Day movie where they've got that ship that they got from the aliens. And the people that had it wanted $1 million hard cash, okay? And they blindfolded him. He went for 3 hours from one location. They took his phone and his cameras, because obviously these guys all have cameras, and they allowed him to look inside the craft. They showed him that there was nothing supporting the craft. In other words, it was in an electrogravitic levitation mode. And we also got, George, the actual control panel on the artifacts that we unearthed, and the ability to translate them on how to fly them and stuff from them making cloaks. And now why is that important? Because the Harvard scientists were saying Uma was an intelligently directed craft. And I happen to agree with them because that thing returned extrasolar out of our solar system, and it hit the exact point where there used to be a planet that was destroyed called Rahab, or Astra. The Greeks knew it. And that's what gave the effort. But there's a lot of things that are cloaking. There's a book called The Ringmakers of Saturn that talks exactly about that. So because we think that, everything's going to be a shiny circular saucer, and we do have those artifacts, but we also have stranger artifacts that look like they're propelled vehicles that you go, boy, those guys are smart, being the fallen angels and their offspring. And the bottom line is that everything that we're turning up, giving up, presenting the world, absolutely puts to rest. Are there aliens? Absolutely. Are there advanced craft? Absolutely. Are they messing with human DNA? Absolutely. And what's their end game? The destruction of all humanity.
And it is deep. Zechariah 6. John in Wausau, Wisconsin, welcome. Let's squeeze you in here. John, go ahead.
Hello, George. Hello, Stevie. Quick comment, please. Foremost, George, I want to thank you for continuing to play wonderful bumper music. Earlier, you played one of my favorite Bowie songs. A lot of people thought David was an alien, but the reality is he was an artist. Anymore, Stephen, kudos to you for the excellent work you do. As I listen to you on Coast to Coast and the way you articulate your comments, your clear voice, and your calm delivery, I could literally listen to you all day long. And I just want to thank you for the information that educates people like me. And I want to encourage you to keep up the good work. I look forward to learning more about your film and getting your latest book, Stephen. And God bless both you and George.
Thank you, John. A minute left, Stephen. Where do people watch this incredible documentary, Isaac Men and God?
Well, they can go to Gen6EZNSIX.com, and they can view it on demand on Vimeo, so they can watch it all over the world, and they can also basically just go on the same site, Gen6.com, and order the video here in the United States. And I want to thank everybody that supports this show, and I especially want to thank you, because absolutely you're breaking new ground, and you're showing people that in the same thing you're doing, you're showing there's another narrative rather than the one that shows up on the evening news. So God bless you, and thank you for all the years you've allowed me to present the information that I've researched for the past 40 years.
Many more to come for you and me, Stephen. Thank you again to Stephen Clan. Up next, we're going live to the United Kingdom. Tony Topping, first-time guest, UFO researcher and experiencer. We'll talk about his latest work.
Join the Coast to Coast AM Facebook page with thousands of members. It's great for show updates and connecting with other fans. Go to facebook.com/Coast to Coast AM and click the like button. Get ready for iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert to celebrate their announcement of the Rhapsody Tour 2023, featuring a career-spanning set list with wall-to-wall immortal anthems. Encouraging tours of the tree that way, so you want to go with people want you. Tour tickets on sale Friday at LiveNation.com. Don't miss iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on the free iHeartRadio app Classic Rock channel. On the podcast, Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman, the Stanford neuroscientist explores how brain science intersects with our lives, passions, and behaviors. This deep dive into unexpected facets of our brain science will help you see the world differently. I'm going to explore the relationship between our brain and our experiences by tackling unusual questions. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app or toxic air threatens our health. The ViralRabbi is the next generation in home air purification. It's specifically designed to wipe out airborne viruses, germs, and chemicals known to cause allergies, illness, and difficulty breathing. Even toxic fumes from a recent train derailment were no match for a ViralRabbi. A single ViralRabbi unit removes 99% of the dangerous compounds that were found at home near the chemical disaster. If it can clean the air after a toxic spill, imagine how it can help keep your family healthy. Only ViralRabbi comes with a free air quality monitor. Visit ukcure.com and use the promo code Conway
TKStore.com, promo code Conway. TKStore.com, promo code Conway. Portions of the following program will be recorded. Just say, hey, insert smart speaker name here. Wait till you find 640. That's all you gotta do. We're living in a space age. You know what? Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Oh, let's get USA. I'm Amy King in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LA has set a record for shoplifting. The LAPD says 805 reports were filed in January. That's the highest number of shoplifting cases in a single month since at least 2010. LAPD says shoplifting has been on the rise in the city since August. Department stores are getting hit the most. They make many of our clothes but can hardly afford the shirts on their back.
A new report from the U.S. Department of Labor alleges SoCal garment workers make as little as $1.58 an hour. The report says the workers who make clothing for some of the top fashion retailers in the nation often fall victim to wage theft and illegal practices. Between July of 2021 and June of 2022, the Labor Department investigated 50 garment contractors in L.A., Orange, and San Bernardino counties and found more than 80% of the contractors were committing labor violations. Jennifer Jones, Lee, KFI News.
Hundreds of people have gathered in Nashville for a citywide candlelight vigil to mourn and honor the 6 people killed in a school shooting at a private Christian school. First Lady Joe Biden and singer Cheryl Crow also paid their respects, as well as the mayor and police chief. The grand jury investigating former President Trump is taking a month-long break. The break is apparently a previously scheduled hiatus tied to New York City schools' spring recess. The break means any potential indictment tied to alleged hush money payments made to porn actress Stormy Daniels in 2016 before the election are pushed back to. Your enthusiasm is likely ending after 12 seasons. The Hollywood Reporter says Larry Davis can wrap things up after this next season, which does not yet have a premiere date. Filming for the season completed this week, and now a deleted tweet by a curved writer and producer said maybe you love the show, maybe you hate the show. In any event, shooting the last scene of the last episode of the final season. Southland weather from KFI, cloudy with showers possible this morning. Just a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, highs from 50 to about 60. Mostly cloudy Friday with highs in the 50s and 60s. Sunny for the weekend with highs in the 50s to near 70s. It's 51 in Orange, 53 Manhattan Beach, 53 in Cerritos, 45 in Canyon Country. We lead local in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Amy King.
Rob Schmidt is not giving up. He's on Newsmax tonight with a special series targeting Trump for destruction.
Well, New York, Georgia, and the Department of Justice all want Trump's car. But Rob asks, where is the evidence?
Rob Schmidt targeting Trump is on Newsmax exposing the big media narrative.
He reveals the new document. In front of him says the Biden family got cash from China. It's a disturbing story and the cover-up is even worse.
Watch Rob Schmidt tonight, 4 p.m. Pacific. It's one of the hottest shows on cable.
You can find Newsmax on major cable systems. It's even back on DirecTV and Uber. Plus, get Newsmax on Roku, Samsung, Pluto, Xumo, Vizio, and more.
Download the Newsmax app free on your iPhone or Android and start watching anywhere, anytime.
We watch Newsmax. It's real news for real people.
Tell your friends and family. Tune in today and watch Rob Schmidt tonight.
News live from the Hayes bedroom. It's another eventful night for us. The curious Ron Steve has been struggling with his feedback. His wife is down a tight. He's arranged. The field throws an elbow. He's leaving for the count. Keep the good inspired. Absolutely, Bruce. Inspires a sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. There's no mask and no hose. Guys, learn more at InspiredSleep.com.
Inspired is not for everyone. Talking about the sleep is right for you and will be important safety information at InspiredSleep.com.
The Chief Marketer Report. The CCSA elects Global Chief Marketing Officer Direct-to-Consumer for Warner Brothers Discovery weighs in on building trust. Trust is a really hard thing to build and a really easy thing to destroy, and we have to be very respectful about that. Our partnership with iHeart has really helped us build that trust and that relationship with the owner and talent. As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. Are you feeling the stress of a car accident? Let Jacoby and Meyer take the wheel and steer you towards the compensation you deserve. 93% of crash victims who use a lawyer said they'd do it again. And with Jacoby and Myers, you'll get the best of both worlds. Our legal expertise
and a hassle-free experience. Don't just take our word for it. See for yourself what over 50 years of experience can do for you. Call the Children and Buyers. Justice for Youth since 1972. Your traditional investments aren't so great right now. So how about investing in assets that not only hold their value, but are just outright fun to own? Have you ever wanted a Rolex and never thought you could afford one? Well, let me suggest Bob's watches. Rolex, Omega, Cartier, Tudor, and a whole lot more. They have them all. Buy, sell, or trade. They have a huge inventory of luxury watches, free overnight shipping on all orders, and a great selection of vintage Rolex watches, too. Bob's Watches is a trusted online store to buy or sell modern and vintage luxury pre-owned watches, and all watches are 100% authentic and independently certified. And now you get $200 off. Google Bob's Watches and my name, Bill Handel. Click the link at the top to get your discount automatically applied. So Bob's Watches and Bill Handel. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. More stimulating talk. KFI AM 640. In a moment, we're going live to the United Kingdom to chat with Tony Topping, a UFO investigator and researcher and experienced. He's been involved with the UFO phenomenon for more than 40 years. We see you having what he has to say. I like him a lot. This banking crisis really has depositors and investors vigorous. If you have not done so already, you might want to diversify. Because as the financial markets have become more volatile, banks have shed over 20% of their value overnight. And gold has continued to appreciate. That's right. Gold historically performs well during times of high turbulence and uncertainty. And you can purchase gold or silver and have it shipped directly to your home, fully insured, at bullionmax.com/post. And right now, Bullion Max will cover the shipping on any order over $199 when you go to bullionmax.com/post. No one knows when this current crisis will end or the long-term impact, but you can have some peace of mind by diversifying some of your savings. Whether you're looking for a silver starter kit like so many coast-to-coast listeners have already purchased, or maybe you want a couple ounces of gold to safely store in your home. Find it at bullionmax.com/post, where you can start protecting your savings today.
Tens of thousands affected by the toxic water at Temple Dunes are left with death, cancer, Parkinson's, dementia, birth defects, and other serious illnesses, and along with the harm, so many worries.
My family's drinking Temple Dune water. What if our health gets worse and we need more financial help? How do I protect my VA benefits and get the compensation I deserve in need?
The answer is simple. Call James Harris Law, the experienced, trusted law firm that can issue significant compensation while protecting all your VA benefits. We're already fighting for hundreds of Marines, families, and civilians who drank Kevlar water. But if you miss the deadline, you could forever lose your right to the justice you deserve. So call our Tampa June legal helpline now. Now may be your last chance to receive full compensation, don't delay. Call 800-260-7979. That's 800-260-7979. 800-260-7979.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you with our guest Tony Topping. Tony is a veteran UFO researcher and experiencer. He has been involved with the UFO phenomenon, as I mentioned, for more than 40 years, and has been deeply involved in the complex intelligence operation between humans and alien visitors. His latest book is called I, Alien, Memoirs of a UFO Spy. Tony, welcome to the program. Looking forward to it.
Hello, Walter. Thank you, George, for having me on the show. It's great to be here.
How are things in the United Kingdom these days?
Oh, they're politically wise, very turbulent. Weather-wise, absolutely gorgeous here in Southport in the UK, which means that it's very clear skies, which is good for filming the UFOs when they come in over the area where I live.
Tell me how you got involved in it.
Well, initially I fell into it, so I kind of like falling into a gap in early childhood, having mysterious visions. That's all I can describe it as. I know the contrast is quite stark as to where I'm 10 years of age. I was wandering to which is absolutely shocking really, but I was wandering to a scrapyard at 10 years of age with a pram with the top taken out, and it had scrap on it like a kettle and a toaster because my mum and dad were broke, and we lived in a house with no bathing facilities, no heating, and outside toilet use was quite the norm. And so it began, and yet I was surrounded by these extraordinary visions. And I couldn't make any sense of what it was. And then we started, to cut a long story short, in 1999, having been to the gates of Halifax as a teenager and a young adult and everything that I had to deal with there, the UFOs started coming in over the house for mysterious reasons, and we started having the strange visions that came with that. And it's taken me years, absolutely years, to work out what exactly was going on. For example, the UFOs coming in over my home would focus on radio antennas because, like I think ourselves, I am a radio hand. So they would focus in on the radio antennas continually, and I didn't know why, and it took me years to work it out, George. So I've had interaction with the UFO phenomenon now for a very long time. It's got even more hair-raising. And the book I wrote took about 3 to 4 years because of the post-traumatic stress disorder condition that I have after all that has gone on with me. I mean, the childhood was just, my childhood.
That's the way you did it. I mean, you're a good guy.
That's a good question, George. A lot of faith, a lot of religious faith. For example, in 2018, I looked after my mother with dementia, and she had quite an unpleasant health complaint that was heartbreaking for us to deal with, and I had to clean up after her, and I was kind of, at 3 in the morning, I was changing her, lifting her out of bed, all that kind of thing. There was nobody else to help me. I was the loneliest man in the universe. 2018, I lost her. I had to move to Southport. I lost the house I lived in, and that's like major hernia surgery, all in the same year. And I have to say that you go from boy to man with all that very quickly. And faith and interaction with the more positive elements of the UFO phenomenon, which I'll come to, have been a tremendous help. Stephen Greer is quite correct in his assessment, but they are highly evolved and highly intelligent, and we're being lied to. But it's not all fluffy out there. As probably some of your listeners who may have been subjected to abduction have discovered. And so it's been quite a roller coaster ride, actually, like you Travis Walton, I know, I think he's got it. I mean, I know when I spoke to him, he was collapsing with exhaustion. That was a few years ago with it all, because it really takes it out of you. You are exposed to an unknown landscape, an unknown environment, and it's taken me about 40 years to keep it all together, George.
I'm going to be with Travis in a couple months in a live stage show in Oregon. He's quite the guy.
Yeah, he's quite the guy. And when I met him, he was telling me that he'd just collapsed with exhaustion. It was at a conference, and I know that there's been, how can I put it? If you know, George. So you know a contact experience, some of those contact experience. I've also, but we'll get into this probably as the show goes on, there was a sense to me by, let us say, a hostile element of the ET phenomenon. So it's not all plain sailing out there, and we have to be aware of it. We really do. And this gets into a myriad, I think, of arguments, doesn't it? In real life, when you're dealing with aliens, what is written on the internet and how they are and how they perceive humanity is very different when you're up close with them, George. It really is.
If you went running around the United Kingdom asking people if they believed in extraterrestrial life and that it was visiting us, what do you think they'd say?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, for example, I've had business executives coming up to me, going in the pub, for example, in the UK, going, listen, Tony, I own a successful company. I've been abducted by aliens. I don't tell anyone. Keep it to yourself, but this, that, and the other. So, therefore, you've got people who are keeping it quiet that this has happened to them, or they've had a peaceful interaction with them, and it's kept quiet. That the UK population are more switched on into this than people realise, although the UK media, they've been pretty good with them, apart from one interview that I did that went horribly wrong, and that was due to that they were a bit of a right-wing shock broadcaster, and it didn't go well at all. And you're up against the awful factor in the UK, which is all internet, which is cover-up and the lie that we're being invaded by them. The invasion scenario, Project Bluebeam, is very complex. It's not like that at all. They're not invading us. That's like, if you download, so Dr. Stephen Greer again, is partly correct. To pull off an alien invasion would be an incredible stuff to do, because of the whole, we're not being invaded, George, we're being warned, continually warned.
Tony, do you know the UK broadcaster Howard Hughes?
Yes, I do know the broadcaster Howard Hughes. I do. Yes, certainly do have appeared for him on a couple of occasions.
Good guy. Nice guy.
He is a great guy. Yes, I've appeared for him on a couple of occasions. ITV this morning. Very nice people there, we've got DB News. Surprisingly, DB News is quite right-wing and conservative issues, but the broadcasters who give me a very good platform. They didn't ridicule me in any way, which surprised me, and, I was free to just talk about my UFO contact experiences and talk about the footage that I filmed without ridicule, George, which is what you want, really. I think the public respects you if you don't go down the avenue of I'm the chosen one, I'm the ambassador to the aliens. I think they respect you if you are looking at all avenues to it. So is it a mental health thing? Is it some form of savant autism? Is the mind generated? Every stone has to be unturned. And I've concluded that my interactions are real, have happened. It's been chaotic. There's been mind control going on. There's been the military in the background that don't quite get it. And it's been an insane circus, to be quite frank with you, George. I've come close to cracking up on many an occasion with it. And your sanity is tested. And the great religious works have also said that, this can be a path to insanity, and it can. You've got to be very grounded, and faith has played, religious faith for me, has played a large part in holding it together.
Well, if you ever find yourself slipping, Tony, you call us, because we're going to be your friends for life, okay?
Well, that's a beautiful thing to say, George. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Now, tell us about the book, I, the Aliens, Memoirs of a UFO Spy. Tell me about the UFO spy course.
Okay, Nicky. Well, what this is, for me, I started like was teaching art science in London. I went to one of the top London stage schools, And with that, I kind of like working off it in London as well. I started to be followed by the UFO phenomena, the white balls of light following me everywhere I went. When I returned to Yorkshire in 1996, I started having these very strange visions, and some of them were psychic warfare visions. Some of them were, as it says in the book, some of these early visions were to do with people in another realm being killed. It was horrendous, and I couldn't understand any of it. Then I started having visions of submarines and UFOs around them. That makes sense now that I'm sat here now. It does make sense, but at the time it didn't. And then we started the bizarre flyovers and some Mars helicopter following. And the UFOs were coming in, and they were perfectly illuminating TV antennas. And it was very interesting because some of them, yes, are planes, some of them are satellites. So these things were displaying aerobatic characteristics that normal aircraft couldn't do. They were doing it for a specific reason. They were going near radio antennas for a specific reason. The reason they were going near radio antennas was they were hinting at something via me. So when you take me out of the equation, they're actually communicating with something, some entity that is not fixed by the rules of time. And then it started with all the MK Ultra targeting, the gunfire, the screaming at 3 in the morning, the experimenting on people trying to understand, probably in the military, what was going on with me. And I was on the receiving end of this voice control technology. It was horrendous, and I had a very responsible job. And I ended up having a very responsible job with managerial type things. And I was actually going to work and cope with all this at the same time. And it was very difficult. And I started keeping a journal, which is in the book, of the time, the dates, of all the interactions that were going on. And due to everything else that happened, including looking after my mother, they were kept on the shelf for years. Kept on the shelf for years. I lost my mother, and in a fit of rage, I was going to put them in the bin. And then one day, when I moved to Southport, I looked through them and realised that actually this was a time travel operation. The time and date which are in the book, it was behind the UFOs that I then called SCOP, Special Contact Operation Verity. The Verity element means that we from the future verify what you have seen. And it was an information network, and it makes perfect sense because there was kind of images being downloaded in front of me that were like you wouldn't believe. One of them was a ship's propeller system. Another one was arable farmland on somewhere else, on another world. What this was, George, was an information network, and I was like a service with a node, a gateway. So they'd established communication, possibly via consciousness, that kind of thing. And what they were doing, I think, is that, for example, the Nordic ET from Andromeda were communicating with an Earth agency in the future, and they were sending information in real time with no distance. That's the bit that tracked it with ESCOP. It was a real-time information highway. Thing is, if you've got a static jumper that is covering up the UFO phenomena, that is telling you we're being invaded and that we do not know what they are on its horses, which is why there is not so much an invasion, but an alien Cold War, and the actions of aliens concern aliens. So there's an element to the alien phenomena, the alien contact phenomena, that is not friendly, and it's that alien element that clashes with the more advanced complexities of the advanced civilizations that are out there, and therefore you then have an alien Cold War on your hands with humanity in the middle, and dealing with these demonic angels and demon phenomena as well as the biblical works of Titus, which aren't quite correct. And that seems to be what it was. So it was a time travel operation, the journals. I'm glad I didn't throw them out. And it's got the imagery. I spent hours doing the imagery, hours doing what the aliens look like. I'm very proud of it. But it took a long time, George, because of the PTSD and the procrastination. And at one point, after my UK interview that went terribly wrong. At one point, I was going to walk away from it all. I had no faith in it. I became very despondent. All these lovely images, nowhere to be seen, they were just there, but nothing was happening. And then things changed around. I've been very lucky of late, including an appearance to your good self here. And that's the story behind XCOM. So XCOM is in the book, it's an organisation, and I believe it to be based on I've written it as fiction to protect the innocent, but it's based on tourism. Yeah. But that's the story so far with it.
Tony, what is the alien abduction program? What are they at?
This is an interesting thing, George, because for me, the abduction, I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I think it happened about 2 years ago with me. I'm not sure what they are after, but I do know that the actions of aliens concern aliens. So what you have is this phenomenon of alien abduction, and I have reason to suspect that the phenomenon of alien abduction may not just be targeted at humanity, it might be targeted at other civilizations that look like us, because they look like us, we look like them. One of the things that I noticed, George, in the book that I've written, there's no esoteric or occult reference to this. It's probably a highly secret area. We have a parallel humanity running in a parallel universe known as Humans in the Parallel, HITP. And to all intents and purposes, what has happened here is that there's no esoteric reference, no occult reference to them, but they are there. And they communicated, and they indicated that alien abduction is for them a crime. It can also happen to them, but they class it as a foreign. Most advanced alien cultures out there class it as a foreign, and it's illegal. But that's when I was going through what I was going through, I was actually sleeping on the sofa. I didn't sleep in the bedroom. I've got over that now. I've had some very good therapy. I'm still going through the therapy. It's been a tremendous help. So there we go there, George. But what happened was, what fascinates me is that this thing which we call a grey is true. I know that you know, I daren't see it. I daren't open my eyes, but I knew it was in the room. I just knew I was there, it's breathing. And what it did, as I say in the book, is back in the day when I was very young, in order to cope with life, I'd have a ridiculous word salad kind of feel that I would come out with, I don't know, for example, magic roundabout. And I keep saying this word, but somehow these words get me comfort as a child. What this thing did is it kind of like took those words and accelerated them in my head.
Hold that thought right there, Tony. We're going to get a break. We'll come right back and pick it up. Coast to Coast.
The official website of Coast to Coast AM is coasttocoastam.com. Log on now.
I'll never forget the moment we kissed the night of the haze. The way that we hugged inside a keep warm, taking the sleigh ride.
I'm Bruce Hennis from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. LA District Attorney George Gascon has announced criminal charges against one THC sergeant and 6 patrol officers, also immersed in the death of a 38-year-old man who died in his custody. The officers are each facing 1 count of involuntary manslaughter, 1 felony count of assault under the control of authority. Family of the man has filed a wrongful death suit. There's a new sinkhole on the 710 in Pasadena. The California Boulevard off-ramp is now closed. Full repairs expected by April 4th. Pope Francis is in the hospital. He has non-COVID respiratory infection. He's 86, and the Vatican says he'll be in the hospital for a few days. And the Padres have pushed their season opener from 1:20 this afternoon to 6:40 because of the rain. Downtime weather from KFI. Rain continues today, moving out by late afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now it's 58 in Placentia. Manhattan Beach is 51. 42 in Burbank and 51 in Carson. We reach local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Kenneth.
In Glendale, this is over 134 westbound after 2. We have taken up the Coldfield and left lane. Your drivers must pick up as you approach this area. Allegiant Park, we have 15. Further attack on the 5 northbound after the 110 has been cleared from lane. Your drive is recovering from Pasadena Avenue. And in the city of Orange, this is only 55 northbound after 22. Little fender there. It's out of lanes and on the right shoulder. Watch for the lane. KFI is the sky. Hope to get you there faster. I'm Brian Van. You can choose your air purifier like your life depends on it because, well, it's your choice. The recent Ohio chemical disaster showed us toxic air threatens our health. ViralRabbi is the next generation in home air purification. It's specifically designed to wipe out airborne viruses, germs, and chemicals known to cause allergies, illness, and difficulty breathing. Even toxic fumes from a recent train derailment were no match for ViralRabbi. A single and viral-friendly unit removed 99% of the dangerous compounds that were found in the homes near the chemical disaster. If it can clean the air after a toxic spill, imagine how it can help keep your family healthy. Only ViralRabbi comes with a free air quality monitor. Visit ekcure.com and use the promo code Conway for 10% off your ViralRabbi home purification unit. Plus, you get the free air quality monitor and fast free shipping. That's $150 savings. Visit ekcure.com, promo code Conway. ekcure.com, promo code Conway.
This week's marketing report. Raja Manar, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer of MasterCard, talked about messaging. Basically, solid and solid branding. The principles of measurement are the same, but the parameters that you measure are different. These are them, and what it has to be audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. You probably already know that Rosetta Stone is one of the best ways to learn a language. But did you also know that they offer a lifetime subscription to all 25 of their languages? Dabble in French, try your hand at German, learn a bit of Japanese, or even explore Swedish. And right now, you can get 40% off Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription. Visit RosettaStone.com today to purchase once and learn for life. Rosetta Stone. A language is learned. KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk ever again. Remember, a one-year subscription comes out to only 15 cents a day. Sign up today at coasttocoastam.com. We're going to take your calls next hour with Tony Cochran as we talk about his incredible UFO experience. His book is called I, Alien Memoirs of a UFO Spot. Gina Salvati is for Tom Danheiser. We were last night for a couple days. Gina, do you remember that song, One Last Kiss? Guess what musical that came? Is it Bye Bye Birdie? You got that right. All right. Good for you. I knew that against thank you. That was a classic.
one of a kind. Speaking of classics, you've got a newsletter you want to give people for free called The Whole Lifetime Digital Magazine.
We sure do, George, and it's very easy. Anyone can email me at Gina, Gina, at wholelifemagazine.com.
And you're also going to send it out via text to people?
We sure can. You just text the word whole life, all one word, whole life, to 42828.
That's just like the phone number, right?
That's like the phone number.
One more time.
Text the word whole life with a W, whole life, to 42828.
Thank you, Gina.
Thank you, George.
ViralRabbi.com keeps moving along. 605 people ago, and we hit 158,000 signed-up members. And meet people that get you, that understand you, that paranormal base.
4 decades of experience in natural products for the exclusive stem cell wellness kit that works with your body's stem cells to assist your immune system. Here's Dr. Murray with more.
Whether it's physical activity or your age, can be supported by reducing inflammation and aiding the body to heal itself appropriately. The stem cell is a cell needing to be told what it needs to do. If there is inflammation, that inflammation needs to be stopped. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney disease, various types of cancer, depression, Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune disorders, osteoporosis, even fatty liver are chronic signs of inflammation and can be aided by supporting together, supporting the body to be effectively.
Dr. Murray, how will I feel after taking a Dr. Stemper in his family?
The industry is going to have an immediate effect, but I guarantee you that your immune system is starting to function better after 24 hours. If you put adaptogen along with it, you will feel it in 30 minutes.
Order now at HealthyLooking.com. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit from Dr. Murray protects your body's stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit with adaptogen and immunostem and your free gift to relax valve is only available at HealthyLooking.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping. George is Stem Cell Wellness Kit at HealthyLooking.com. That's HealthyLooking.com.
Let's talk about mental sex for a moment. If you want to improve your hearing, you need a mental sex. Mental sex will improve my ability dramatically, and is a must-have for every responsible young adult. Mental sex is a high-tech immediate system used extensively by the military that improves the task between materials. You attach the mental sex to your firearm, connect it with an app on your smartphone or tablet via Bluetooth, and it gives you instant feedback on what you're doing right and what you might be doing wrong and how to correct that technique. The Mantis X is like a firearms instructor right in your pocket, with 94% of the people improving use this at home. The best in the world do what is called dry fire practice at home. No live ammo, none of that, and the Mantis X is the best way to train. You'll save a ton of money and improve your range. Start by improving today. Get yours at MantisX.com. That's Mantis, MantisX.com. That seems like fun for a lot of reasons, including if you put a ton of your sensitive information all in one place. All right. It's called to order this annual meeting of John's Sensitive Info. John's home address, are you in attendance? John's social security number? Right here. But that also means, especially during tax season, it can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. John's account info. And hey, anyone see account info? Not me. Hello? Account info? Is John's logged in? Oh no, they've been stolen. LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself by monitoring your info and alerting you to potential identity threats. If you become a victim, the dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work by yourself during tax season and beyond. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS for 25% off. LifeLock. Identity theft protection starts here. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie back. The website is linked up at coasttocoaststay.com. So Tony, you were asleep on the couch. You just kept your eyes closed. If you saw the presence of an alien gray. So yeah, but yes, that's what actually. So I felt the presence of the alien gray. But
thing is it's what happened next that kind of like what's the presence of the alien group. So what I wasn't prepared for was the fact that it appeared that the reality of the room was beginning to warp. It was quite unbelievable actually. It was as if the thing was affecting the time and the space around it. I knew it was here. But what then happened next was I thought to myself, I can't believe this is happening. And then next minute I know there was this, how can I put it, divine intervention entered the room. I can only describe it as if God Almighty himself had stepped into this living room. And the presence, this majestic, incredible presence of peace and love was present in this room. And it was as if bizarrely the Grey wanted communion with it, but couldn't, and went on its way. And this war, it has been following me for quite a while. It started George with flashing lights, bizarre kind of just flashing lights in the roof. And then on a couple of occasions there's been great big flashes of light. And then it's kind of like still its presence continually as to what it is. And it would appear that it's intelligent without form. So it's kind of like highly intelligent.
Are you scared or do you feel safe?
Oh, totally safe. It was absolutely magnificent. It was, I believe it to be a religious intervention of some description. I do believe that because the biblical words do point to an angel demonic element. In fact, your 50% intelligence agency actually did research that would call them non-human entities or NHC. I know my friend was approached by the CIA to discuss the demonic component of the UFO phenomena, which, as I understand it, your military understood in about 1950 under an agency called the Collins Elite. So there is like this religious theme running through it, and it all refers back to this magnificent creative energy. So as well as being alien, it's also religious, which is why in my book there is a religious theme running through it of the presence of this force. But it's shown itself on numerous occasions to me, which gives me faith, and has kept me sane, because I think, had it not been for any of that George, I could have been in a psychiatric unit. It was that close. Your sanity is hit night and day. To give you listeners an example, I'm sure they're very intelligent people, but the CIA, when they approached Ray Coleman with the implicit order, they indicated to him that a close study of that is a tremendous help. Basically, it's the fluid experiment with glycerine, so you fill it with food coloring or whatever. You rotate the glycerine and it vanishes, and then you re-rotate it the other way and it reappears again. Well, if you can imagine that being a hidden realm from humanity, there you've got your flashpoint, there you've got your alien kind of Cold War reason for the fact therefore that America has been involved in quite a secret war with non-human entities for a number of years. And these things have a biblical reference to them, so they are present within the framework of humanity, causing, I believe, absolute chaos. And it is interesting to note that the concept is called Alex Newwald. I don't know whether you had him on the show. He would make a very good guest. He wrote a book called Co-Evolution. And what is very interesting about that is he was abducted in New Zealand. He was on the way to Auckland. 5 days sitting fine, 10 miles from where he should be. Before he had a car accident, these beings approached him. He thought they were ghosts. They were not. They were ET. They said this profound thing to him, that the earth is ruled by a dark force. It is a form of life that must be respected. So back to our ink experiment again, George. We've got a form of life in that invisible realm going on that must be respected. The baffling complexity of that is it is of no respect to humanity. That's the bit I'm grappling with at the moment with it. But I've witnessed it firsthand. Night and day and night. It's quite not pleasant. That realm is not pleasant. Hence the biblical words talking about people dabbling in the occult and the esoteric and the subconscious being taken over by that, which the US military under Project Stargate and even the Russian military under Project the public domain, but it's there.
Tony, you used to find us a couple art depictions of some alien women.
Yes.
Blue eyes. One is just spark that stands right out. Tell me about that.
Okay, well, see, that's the one that everybody really likes. My favourite is the Green Lady, but I'll get to that in a minute. That one there, the one with the blonde, blue eyes, sparkling, shining that everybody likes, is actually an example of a maritime extraterrestrial group. And it's taken me hours to get the look. For my liking, I still haven't quite got the face as triangular as you showed me. But in '97, when I was being baffled by all these strange visions, I had a dream of being asleep. I was asleep, and I had this strange dream of being in the squalid, filthy house that I used to live in. And for some reason, there was this woman with her back to me, looking at my mum and dad's old dressing cabinet from the 1930s. And she's tying back her hair, and then she turns round to me and says, "How do I look?" And I was absolutely flabbergasted because that's what she looked like, George. There was no getting away. The words in English were, "How do I look?" It frightened me, but it made sense that I was having visions of the submarines and the UFOs, because in later years she proceeded to tell me that they are from another dimension. However, they can come into our world, and they use water and oceans in that dimension like they would in ours. And they have bases in the ocean. Their ships travel very fast over the sea. I was wondering if the US Navy would disclose any of that, but I think they actually think it's also classified. So the thing is, George, is we can learn a lot from them if we open the hearing frequency instead of going down this disaster of their invading us route. Because they're not invading us. It's the placement of the passage junction that controls disclosure that's the issue here. And that lady, as I say, they aged, George, she aged. I mean, that was in 1997, and then in 2018 she appeared again. Absolutely enraged over what I'd been subjected to, but she had aged. And she told me it's been a number of years since she saw me, and it was a choice that they aged. Now, I haven't seen a sense that that is an accurate portrayal of what she looks like.
So they grow old too.
Yeah, it would appear so. It would appear they age. Yeah, she had age. So she looked great, but you could tell she's slightly aged. And I don't know. I didn't get round to the best thing to say, George, with all this is if you don't know the answer, that's fine, and don't mess it up, because the public seems to have an instinct when somebody's messing all this up, and I have not got the intellect to mess it up. So therefore, I don't know why there is a choice whether they have the technologies maybe to delay aging, but she had age. And it didn't seem to bother her with it. So I've not got round to asking why that is yet, but I'm sure I will. Because, George, with all this, I am a contact, but they keep repeating the mantra. There are very strict protocols in the way we communicate with Earth government. There's very strict protocols going on. It's as if I get the impression that contact has actually been established, but they've kept it quiet for whatever reasons that might be. There are reasons that I'm aware of, but it's just not safe to talk about. It really is. You've got to be very careful with what you say. So there she was, George, absolutely splendid, magnificent. And what is interesting is that women play a key part in this saga. Alien women play a key part in this saga. What is further interesting, and I stand by this in public, is that you could get one of them on your show to talk about their world, their daughters, their sons, their interests, their fears, like an earth mother, easily. And that's to cover up as well. That's a big thing. But you could, I believe, you could do that quite easily. They're real. They're real, aren't they? And especially I don't know, you got the green lady, George, the green woman.
Yeah, we got her up there.
Yeah, absolutely magnificent. And that she appeared at a time when I had moved house. I'd had major hernia surgery, was coping with the loss of my mother, and was suicidal.
And was she from the Epsilon Bookie started?
Yes, and what fascinating there is that the only man I read upon who knew of that was Edgar Cayce, who had communicated with them and clearly states that they were from there. And she said that the humans get it wrong. They think we're Arcturian, but we're not. We're from that sector, as you have just said, George. She was absolutely splendid. She was just had this beautiful vibe about her. I absolutely fancied her. I was very smitten with her. She was just graceful. And at the time this happened, when I was cracking up with it all, the UFO, their UFO, came in over the marine lake, three pink lights like a triangle, and then across the shoreline from the marine lake, very bright white lights moving left to right, and the exhaustion, because I was nearly collapsing, the exhaustion was lifted from me. I was wandering around with chronic fatigue syndrome, according to my doctor, and that lifted from me. And I've seen her again. They keep check all of yours. So it's very difficult for an invasion to be pulled off by another hostile alien force when you've got a form of galactic community watching. According to her, and I'm just reporting this, but according to her, it was sort of like 12 groups in the Milky Way and about 50 out there, which is in line with Clifford Stone when he talks about the Hind 57 variety of aliens around 57. So it does make sense. They are real, they are there, and there's an horrendous cover-up going on because of it. And I don't like it, George, at all. I don't like people being lied to in the way that they are being lied to at the moment.
Have you heard of the Black Knight satellite, Tony?
Yes, I have.
It apparently came from the Epsilon Group of Starship.
Yeah, no, that I didn't know, George. Did you see me when I lost my mother and had the operation that they were still hitting me? And the thing is that I asked for help from another contactee in America who has contact with them. And they turned up, which was staggering. And this lady said that they didn't know all that went on in the universe, it was a vast place, but they'd heard of my saga, and there they were. But think UFOs, George, I'll never forget it, the triangle, I'll never forget her. I sometimes wonder who she is, where she is, and what she's doing. They never give names either. There's no point in making it up, George, you see. If they don't give names, they don't give names. What would be the point in making it up, saying, oh yes, her name was so-and-so, when I'm correct? You know what I'm saying?
Tony, we're going to take a quick break in 2 minutes to come back and take phone calls with you. Where do people get your book, I Alien?
Yeah, they can look it up on Amazon.com. It's on all good platforms. We're working on the audio for that's been done. That will be out soon. But it's on all good platforms from Amazon to Apple Books. You know, it's out there. And my website is TonyCottonUFO.com. I am on Facebook. You can't miss me, and I'm on Twitter as well.
Do you believe the extraterrestrials cannot get involved in our day-to-day operations on this planet?
No, I believe they are. I believe there is operations going on that are equal to human espionage operations involving aliens.
I mean, why don't they stop the Ukraine-Russian war?
Yeah, this is very interesting. The thing is that's a good question, George. And why didn't they stop the death of my mother? There's a disturbing level of fence-sitting going on with them that I do not understand why. And the thing is that you see it on TikTok all the time. The aliens have said we're light is very different from what's being described. And I ain't quite got the answer to that. I know, controversial remark, but I know there's a guy in Israel who's the Messiah, or claims to be the Messiah, and then one would ask, if he is that, why hasn't that power intervened? Well, if it did, I think there'd be an horrendous recoil on it because there's a very dark force controlling events. But I don't get it, George. It's best to say if you don't know it, then. I don't get it as to why there isn't intervention. There again, I'm saying that, however, on the high level of UFO activity.
They're watching it. There's no question about it.
That they are watching, and I was suggesting the dreamscape in the big time continuum where these operations go on. I would suggest intervention is going on at the level of world leaders. The thing is, for example, is when a world leader is sleeping, what is controlling his mind because the mind has no firewall.
That's a good point. Tony, we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and chat more and take a final hour of phone calls with you now.
To find out where George Lori is speaking, go to the coasttocoastam.com website. Scroll down to the bottom and click George's calendar.
How much do you think your home is worth this year? Do you think it's going to be worth the same next year? If you're thinking about borrowing on your home equity, your odds of getting more out of your home is probably higher now than it will be next year. I certainly believe that. Some experts predict that property values might decline over the next few years, making it more challenging for borrowers to tap into that home equity. If you need $75,000 or more, HMS Capital can help you borrow the money you need with the equity you've built. So whether you want to consolidate debt, make home improvements, or whatever your situation may be, HMS Capital may have the best solution to help you. No appraisal, credit report fees to apply. I've done 2 mortgages with HMS Capital. Clearly, I'm a fan. I believe they are simply the best for what they do. Call 833-255-5698, 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com.
You locked your cat up the tree?
Yeah, he's right up there. He's scared to come down.
Hang on, I'll get him for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thank you. Here you go.
Where did you come from? And where is he now? Okay.
What? Oh, well, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
What?
They were up a tree too.
Really?
Your drain was really clogged, backing up, and we have to stop that nasty stuff from invading your bathroom.
So you're a hero?
Try to be every day. We're rooter heroes.
Wow.
We make sure you live in a safe, clean house. Go on.
Thanks for rescuing George.
It's what a hero does.
If you have a question, call Zero Zero coming in or online at ViralRabbi.com.
That's why. Hey, Alexa, stop playing crappy disco music. Thank you. Dance 2. Wake me up on AM Big Boy. You know what?
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live on the iHeartRadio app. New Sinkhole. I'm Reed Dennis in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. There's a brand new sinkhole that opened up on the 710 in Pasadena. The California Boulevard off-ramp is now closed. The city says full repairs are expected by April 4th. The state has started a program to help first-time home buyers. It's called California Dream for All and will provide home buyers with financial assistance for about 20% of the home purchase price. It's a loan, and that money would have to be paid back when the house is sold. Newport Beach is trying to end fractional ownership. They say the practice is turning luxury homes into timeshares and park houses. Fractional ownership is usually split among 4 to 12 owners. The city says a modified ordinance is expected within the next month. The grand jury investigating former President Trump is taking a month-long break. ACP has more. According to a report, the break is due to a previously scheduled hiatus which involved New York City schools spring recess. It also pushes back any potential indictment against Trump. The grand jury is hearing evidence involving the late hush money payments that Trump paid to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in 2016 to cover up an affair. The price of eggs is so high because of the bird flu, but the country's top 8 producer, Cal Maine Foods, just reported a quarterly profit of about $323 million. A year ago, their profit margin was $39.5 million. The Nixon Library in Yorba Linda has dedicated a new Vietnam War monument, marking 50 years since the withdrawal of U.S. combat troops from Vietnam and the signing of their today from 1:20 this afternoon to 6:40 p.m. because of the rain. South Atlantic from KF5 and continues today with chance of isolated thunder showers moving out by late afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now it's 50 in Stanton, Newport Beach at 52, 44 for Thousand Oaks, and 45 in San Diego. We leave local from the KF5 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis.
Involved with Park, which is on the 605 southbound at the 10. Yeah, the track takes up the double lanes there, blocking slow traffic from Ramona Boulevard. Downtown LA, CSS News. Earlier crash on the 101 southbound at Alameda has been cleared from lanes. Your drive is recovering in that area. Save the Florida. This is on the 14 southbound at Golden Valley. We have crash AFC picking up the carpool and left lane. Watch for delays as you approach. Stay by in the sky. It's their master, Brian Bay. On the podcast, Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman, the Stanford neuroscientist explores how brain science intersects with our lives, actions, and behaviors. This deep dive into the unexpected facets of our brain science will help you see the world differently. I'm going to explore the relationship between our brain and our experiences by tackling unusual questions. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. A light source system is the filtered and delicious water straight from every tap in the house. It filters out the chlorine and contaminants while retaining healthy minerals, and there's no filter you can ever maintenance free. New customers get a free HEPA-Pure antibacterial filter that's worth $825. This ends March 31st. Call 800-803-2696. Visit lightsourcewater.com. Lightsourcewater tastes and feel the difference. I never chose to go down. But what I did choose is to get help.
For no-cost gambling addiction counseling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text support to 53342. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Attention accredited investors. With some banks failing and the market trending in the wrong direction, the need to hedge against inflation and invest your money in proven high return assets is now. First National Realty Partners has historic returns of 15% IRR from their $1.5 billion in commercial real estate assets. Their relationships with national brands like Walmart, Whole Foods, Publix, and more gives them the advantage over any other real estate investment opportunity. Find and invest your money in grocery anchored commercial real estate with historic returns of 15% IRR. Call them at 888-301-9010. That's 888-301-9010. Or go to FNRPradio.com. That's FNRPRADIO.com. You'll enjoy all the benefits of fully passive real estate ownership. Get in on the current deals while they're available. Call 888-301-9010 or go to FNRPRADIO.com now. Securities are only available to verified credit investors. Investors are subject to risk and do lots of principal. Institutions are not guaranteed any representation for investment stability reflect FNRP strategy and may or may not be realized. Visit FNRPRadio.com.
Need high-quality windows and doors for your home? Marvin Doors is a trusted partner from the beginning to the end of every process and can help you find the right Marvin windows and doors for your space. Like space for the little things, the big things. And plus, you never expect it. Make space for connection and celebration, for personality and possibility. Make space for grief, for better living, and a quality that endures. Make space for life. When you find a place for Marvin windows and doors in your heart, you can make space for what matters. Marvin dealers are here to help with your Marvin window and door project. We make it easy to find quality Marvin windows and doors that fit your needs. Visit replacementmadeeasy.com today to set up your free consultation. That's replacementmadeeasy.com.
This is Jacob Emrani. You've been involved in a motorcycle accident, call 844-24 Jacob. 3 and 5, 640.
In the wagon, I was traveling slow. My mama used to dance for the money. I was looking through water and I was cold. Until it got cold. There I got a lot of stuff. But in the night, a man was coming away. That money down. Got a boy inside of my window, big cameraman filling with a hot picture. I was just telling you 21. Well, with a come there, sir. And mama was dying if he wanted to go. come around. And in the graveyard home.
Call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll-free from Milwaukee, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies toll-free, call 800-618-8255. To reach George via Skype, use Skype name George 97313. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6521. This is Coast to Coast AM with George North.
His book is called I, Alien, Memoirs of a UFO Spy. We'll be back in a moment and take your calls with him on Coast to Coast AM. Well, have you ever wondered if we're alone in this vast universe? Marvelous Entertainment. They love this program, and they've released the newest in science fiction that specifically deals with this incredible question. A fellow by the name of Marvin Sunderland is a certified film director and science fiction genius. He happens to be the author behind the series of these sci-fi novels that includes a 7-novel masterpiece bringing out the best of your imagination about whether we're alone in the universe. Journey with the star of his book, Sergeant Waggett, in search of a crashed alien spaceship that leads into an alien invasion, and brace yourself for that war that's underway. Sergeant Waggett promises to take your imagination to marvelous heights. Get 20% off the entire 7-novel series and all future graphic novels when you enter coupon code Coast to Coast, lowercase, at marvelous.com. Marvelous.com. MARVALEOUS.com.
Tax season isn't fun for a lot of reasons, including if you put a ton of your sensitive information all in one place. All right. I call to order this annual meeting of John's sensitive info. John's home address, are you in attendance? Present. John's social security number? Right here. But that also means, especially during tax season, it can be dangerously easy to steal your identity. John's account info. And hey, anyone seen account info? Not me. Hello? Account info? The John's logged in? Oh no, they've been stolen. The LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself by monitoring your info and alerting you to potential identity threats. If you become a victim, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it during tax season and beyond. No one can prevent all identity thefts or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS for 25% off. LifeLock. Identity theft protected. Starts here.
And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with Tony talking and your calls this hour. Tony, do you believe the ETs walk among us right now?
I believe possibly so. I think also time travelers as well. But definitely the humans in the parallel. That's the one. That's the one that I couldn't get my head around, George. That we have a parallel humanity, a parallel America, a parallel Australia. I just couldn't get my head around it.
That might explain deja vu.
It could well explain deja vu. It certainly could. The mystery of this was during my communication with the Helen was the fact that they described a barrier between us and them, and the mystery was who had put it there. That was the mystery, George. Who had put the barrier there for the reality, so our reality didn't mix, as it were. Very interesting.
You were talking about right before the break dreaming and how they might be able to implant stuff in people's heads.
Yes, indeed. I mean, for example, what's baffling is, for example, under the Russian KGB at the time, a guy called Boris Ratnikov created under Boris Yeltsin the Department for Mental Security. The Department for Mental Security was designed to protect Boris Yeltsin from the occult and the esoteric across many times. So certainly very odd how, in my opinion, Russia has behaved like such a lunatic in the Ukraine at the moment with the usual modus operandi of conflict that we see within humanity. It's very disturbing, actually, and I do believe that even in Britain that world leaders could be under influence from other realms of their sleep, but there will be no defense against that, making their decision-making not clear and not in favor of the best interests of the human race.
Do you believe you've been abducted?
Yes, multiple times, basically, yeah. But the ex-cop journals in my book indicate multiple interactions going on. And the fact that I was, the fact that I was aboard a spacecraft, it was pure white. It was absolutely pure white, this thing, and it was traveling very quietly through the universe. About 3 weeks ago, I was being scanned aboard a craft. That was an unusual thing. I believe them to be from BTs again, and they were just checking in on me. It seems when the going gets really good for me, they appear, and they were certainly doing something like that just to help me with things. But I don't know, George. I don't know what it is that's causing all this. It's a bit like Jason Bourne and the Bourne identity. You can't like the Jason Bourne trying to find my paranormal identity. Why? Who am I? Why is this happening? You couldn't make it up, George.
Are you finding your answers?
Yes, slowly. But there's this kind of silence, and has been ever since it all began. Silence from the ETs, silence from our own kind as to why all this is happening to me, which I find creepy. The silence to it, a disturbing silence as to why all of this is going on. So I'm reporting to you that they're from BTs, I'm reporting to you from the Maritime, but the narrative in my book is very clear and the frustration is very clear, but they're not telling me precisely why they're doing what they're doing.
Let's take some calls here. You ready?
Go for it.
Let's start with John, truck driving in Ohio. Welcome to the program. Hey, John, go ahead.
Hi, George. I got a question, and I hopefully it's not just a plain answer, whether it's trying to help us. But why, of all the life that's out there, what is their interest of? I mean, we can't get along with each other. Why would they reveal themselves to us? Because eventually, I would trust in these governments that they would take their technology and try to use it against them. And and then you bring up the time travel one who's also mentioned there's an infinite possibilities of alternate Earths and alternate life forms. Why would they want? I mean, what is their interest here with us?
What do you think, Tony? I think we're a special breed of people.
You got it, George. This is the central timeline. This is where it all happens. It's Earth central. And I think that also as well with all this is that there is definitely an interest connected to the supreme deity in a most unusual way. And it's heavily oppressed. There's a lot of noise. You only need to look at the occult manifestations within pop videos and all that kind of thing. The biblical is a vector. The Bible, for example, is vectoring. The deepest vectors towards the supreme deity and our connection with it. And it may be that our actions here affect the bigger picture elsewhere, is the impression I'm getting.
Tony, when you were in this glowing UFO, did they take you anywhere or just hover around the planet?
I've been to coastlines in the UK when it said in the book where they were taking me across the coast. They've taken me to one of their home planets in Andromeda, which was like a populated area with, like for example, their churches, their cathedrals, like we have on Earth, except they are magnificent looking things. Everything, so transportation, motorways, farmland, Andromeda, populated sector, it's there, but they've decided, George, for whatever reason that is, not to tell you. And in my experiences, the ET aren't telling me either why this is so quiet, but they're giving hints. And it's all to do with America and its desire to back engineer technology at whatever the cost.
What do you think of our propulsion system is like, Tony?
Well, I know very little about their propulsion systems. It seems to me that they use a type of fault mode whereby the craft can interact with time and space around it. I think there's that, there's a special warp drive into the that takes a bubble around it and it kind of like moves forward through time and space. Very little information has been given on that, although in my book and in the journals they were transmitting imagery, data, diagrams. There's a diagram in my book of the ship's propeller, which is a ship's propeller system, which is the most unusual thing, whereby it's not a propeller, it's a type of water ionization system. And what happens is it passes through tubes, and the water is somehow energized to cause the motive force to push the craft along. That's in my book, and that was a definite transmission that I saw, and I thought, wow, that's incredible. But it was going elsewhere, George. It wasn't coming to me, it was going elsewhere across this network they devised. It was very clever, you know.
Next up, let's go to Brendan in Austin, Texas. Brendan, thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Thank you, Tony and George, and I hope the audience is doing good. I have a noteworthy little comment and then a question for you, Tony. My comment is, I noticed on your website that it had, as a person of color, that they had made contact with somebody from Andromeda that was a person of color. And I found that to be really interesting because in Hinduism, and I hope nobody finds this to do sacrilege because I think that Hinduism is beautiful, and that's why I know this because I've been looking into it. But Christianity and Hinduism are very similar. They have both have a trinity. The trinity in Hinduism is called TRUMAN, and there's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and those are all dark-skinned entities that came to Earth and stayed to Earth. There was a period called the Dark Ages, which is a specific time in Hinduism. It's not the Dark Ages that you would think of. But they came and saved the Earth from these demons back then, and their names actually mean dark, which is very interesting. And it says God is one, but white people know God by many names. So I think that Hinduism and Christianity are actually talking about the same thing. There's only through local standards of skin tone, which is racist, that people started depicting these entities with lighter and lighter skin throughout time. So I thought that was really interesting. But my experiences that you find disconcerting, and you don't have to name names obviously, but last night we had an amazing guest, and he honestly was a little bit creepy for me, and there's no offense to him or anybody. I really liked it, but he was like an emissary for the grave. And he was saying that the grave use us for parts, and that's why some humans don't come back. And RSO also had a guest once who was a female, and she said she was basically like speaking on the grave's behalf. And it was also a very similar circumstance that she was almost speaking for the grave, not as a human herself. Does that make any sense?
I'll tell you what, thank you for a most brilliant contribution to the show. It's very good. Now, the thing with this is that, yes, it does. I said earlier in the show that the actions of aliens concern other aliens. If you look at the Greys and class them as a form of alien North Korea, then you've got a different picture of it. I witnessed these creatures, and they're not like, and they do not have humanity's freedom or well-being at heart as compared to the Nordics. People confuse them, but with the Nordics, for example, have indicated that they're a form of government in the universe. And the thing with this is that some of these civilizations are highly evolved, so therefore the actions of what they're doing is classed as illegal and abhorrent, and it is. And I've been on the receiving end of it, and it's not pleasant at all. It's criminal, actually. And I don't like this blind spot of the aliens can do no wrong. They're all peace and light. It doesn't work like that in real life. It really doesn't. And it's very disturbing.
No satisfaction.
It's true to say that the galactic
Oh,
community,
my Spotify. I'm so sorry,
what
everyone.
they do, not good. It's not viewed as good. And I have to be careful what I say in this area. I really do. Yes. So you're bang on with what you said. And anybody who comes on a radio, I would find that creepy as well. But it seems all very acceptable, doesn't it? That humanity can be abused in this way, and it's not acceptable.
phenomenon may not just extend to humanity either. This is the thing. As I understand it, those in the parallel universe find it absolutely criminal and have zero tolerance for it. So we can see that this is a real thing going on. We can. Very good.
Our guest is Tony talking. Tony, do you think we are inching our way towards government disclosure about ET?
No, I don't think so at all. I think what's going on is that the wider galactic community is just overriding the cover-up by doing its own thing, appearing with people, interacting with them, flying over us. It's actually, how can I put it? It's very much like a Cold War. If you can imagine that you've got an alien Russia on Earth, and then you've got the alien NATO, it's very much like that. And it's being challenged all the time by them. And I think that this will lead to a roadmap for humanity. It will go Star Trek. I think the US government and its mechanisms, it will end up going Star Trek. It really will. And I think that they're setting the roadmap. An excellent guest having on the show will be Dr. Edward Bell Bruno. I don't know if you've had him on your show, George, have you at all?
I don't think so.
Edward Bell Bruno worked for NASA, and he was working on propulsion calculations, and he indicated that he was struggling with these propulsion calculations. He had these turn up in his room, do a star map for him, and that he's cracked it with the propulsion calculations which improved space travel. But his central belief was that we are definitely seeing roadmaps to them, to who they are, and our place in the wider galactic community. So it's a balance between finding the walking with a big stick behind your back and taking no nonsense, and being the perception of ET towards humanity is arm's length existence until we learn to stop warring with each other. It's greatly concerns them that we are warring with each other. In fact, it's gone insane, to be quite frank with you, and this is the concern of them. So humanity is actually arm's length at the moment. And that's what everybody gets wrong, their perception of humanity. A lot of New Age speak about it, but in real life they are arm's length, keeping a distance but watching. And there are selected individuals who they will communicate with. And this includes me, but they're not clear on reasons why. So there we go.
East of the Rockies, Dylan is with us. Jennifer, Michigan. Jennifer, go ahead.
Tony, how you doing? Okay. There's I don't know whether it's real or fake, that's my question. But the massive object that is appears to come up to the sun, and it sucks what looks like energy from the sun with a long tentacle. Now, to give you a side comparison, if you haven't seen this, if you take a record, a vinyl record, and you were to put a silver dollar on the record, that would be the size comparison for this object. Have either of you seen this at all?
I have not. How about you?
No, I have not either. We've heard that mothers not to be confused with the Pentagon announcement of a mothership heading towards Earth.
The Pentagon believes that there could possibly be a mothership with little objects that they send down to us, which we have talked about for years.
Yeah, indeed. I think that's media spin and disinformation of the. I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's all part of the fear narrative. And to be truthful, George, they don't even know why they're going this fear narrative if the truth is so. They don't really know. There's only a select few who know why, if you get the drift. But they perpetuate it in the media, don't they? Which is shameful.
Yeah, in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let's get you in, Eddie. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, George. Tony, I've never heard an alien executive person talk about that magnificent, warm, loving feeling you had. It sounds just like a near-death experience feeling, but several things. I also am big on education, who you mentioned. I guess. And also, what I want to ask you is this. Are you familiar with Christian's book about the exoplanet 50 years ago or whatever that he translated from some Sumerian rock text or something about the two brothers that are in control? They live a long time and they come by here last time. They had us help, they made humans go help mine gold for them. They don't use it as infusion, but they change it into some powder they use it for. And the two brothers are fighting and on the way, and they're coming back right now, and they have something to do where
One of them is pushing the one world order that we hear about with reptilian or Anunnaki. Are you familiar with any of that?
Be familiar with the moves that are going on at the moment, and it is all to control consciousness. Therefore, for example, you could have major pop celebrities being targeted as if they've gone insane, when in fact their music may have an influence on human consciousness in a positive way, but that's not the game that's being played. It's about control of the human consciousness. Even now, for example, in the UK, they're coming up with 16-minute cities, whereby you have the nearest amenity to you within 15 minutes. It's causing chaos. Excellent being pumped into our waters here in the UK, causing chaos. But that's the idea. There's always an esoteric element to it. So there is a physical battle going on between the light and dark. And as I said in the show, your US military actually put on this in 1950 that this is going on under the CIA and the College of the return to the non-human entities. And the report was at one point in the proceedings, they thought that they were witnesses, but actually that was the false impression that was being tested.
Tony, we're going to take a break and come back and take final calls in a moment.
Now you can get show updates and connect with other Coast fans when you join the Coast to Coast AM Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/Coast to Coast AM and click the like button.
I'm Bree Tennis in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A dramatic Angela police chase in downtown LA started as a traffic stop for reckless driving, ended when a suspect crashed into another car near South Hope and 9th Street. 4 people sent to the hospital. Animal Services also responded to help with the dog on the scene. LA District Attorney George Gascon has announced criminal charges against 1 THC sergeant and 6 patrol officers, also a nurse, in the death of a 38-year-old man who died in custody. Each are facing 1 count of involuntary manslaughter. The officers also face an additional felony count of assault under the color of authority. The family of the man has filed a wrongful death lawsuit. And the Padres have pushed their season opener game from 120 to 5. Rain continues today, moving out by late afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. By now it's 50 in Cypress, Lake Forest is 48, 51 for Hermosa Beach, and 44 in Cartagena. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennis.
In downtown LA, this is on the 10 westbound at Central. You have traffic at 2 left lanes. You guys, it's starting to stack up as you approach this area. Baldwin Park, this is on the 605 southbound at the 10. Clean approved from an earlier crash. Out of lanes and on the right shoulder, you're seeing some looky-loo delays from Ramona Boulevard. And in the city of Orange, we have good news. Earlier crash on the 55 northbound at the 22 has been cleared from lanes. Your drive is recovering in that area. KFI and the Sky Helps get you there faster. I'm Brian Van.
And this week's marketing report, Chris Brand, the Chief Marketing Officer at Chipotle Mexican Grill, weighs in on the power of audio. We use audio to reinforce what we're showing on TV, what we're showing in other digital channels. When your priority is driving reach, boy, everybody seems to listen to the radio. As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, conversations, trusted influencers, insights, and data you need to grow. Go to iHeartResults.com for more. Get ready for iHeartRadio Icon with Queen and Adam Lambert to celebrate their announcement of the Rhapsody Tour 2023, featuring a career-spanning set list with wall-to-wall immortal anthems.
Encouraging tours, but to put it that way, so you want to go with people who want you.
Tour tickets on sale Friday at LiveNation.com. Don't miss iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert. Tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on the free iHeartRadio app Classic Rock channel. You locked your cat up the street?
Yeah, he's way up there. He's scared to come down.
Hang on, I'll get him for you.
Be careful, mister.
Thanks, kid. Here you go.
Where did you I'm from, and where's your mouth and tape?
What? Oh, no, your mom and dad called us to clean out your shower drain.
What?
They were up a tree too.
Really?
Your drain was really clogged, backing up, and we have to stop that nasty stuff from invading your bathroom.
So you're a hero?
Try to be every day. We're rooter heroes.
Wow.
We make sure you live in a safe, clean house. Go on.
Thanks for listening, George.
It's what a hero does.
If you have a question, call Reader Hero coming in at 419@readerhero.com.
AM 640, more stimulating talk. KFI live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640. KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk.
Are we okay? On the ground, you where all the clouds isn't it don't you approve one look at and you where all the clouds there are two clouds just when I start opening making my entrance again with my usual friend. You're all my life. No one is there.
To talk to George Norrie, call the wildcard line at 818-501-4109. The first-time caller line is 818-501-4721. To talk toll-free from east of the Rockies, call 800-825-5033. From west of the Rockies toll-free, call 800-618-8255. To reach George via Skype, use Skype name George97313. Send George a text message anytime at 818-298-6521. From the City of Angels, this is Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie.
On our next Coast to Coast program, Dr. David Smith joins us with an incredible story about traumatic brain injuries and what the world does to fix that. And then later on, our investigative reporter Cheryl Jones joins us with stories of high strangeness, followed by Open Lines with Cheryl on Coast to Coast AM. Beyond Belief, that's a television program, and I hope you subscribe by going to beyondbelief.com, beyondbelief.com. And if you'd like to just look at a few programs, go to the same website, beyondbelief.com. Our YouTube channel, approaching 550,000 signed-up members. Free to sign up. Just go to YouTube, put in the search bar Coast to Coast AM Official, or if you're on our website, click the YouTube icon at the top of the homepage that you'll see.
It has a combination of products to help with everyday stress, fatigue, and moodiness, while increasing energy and stamina, plus helps you fall asleep easier and more soundly while losing weight. It elevates in the morning for energy and focus, then accelerate weight management and sleep combo before bed for great full night's sleep.
I've really gotten 4 to 5 hours sleep max a night. I'm sleeping between 6 and 7. I wake up, use the bathroom, but I go right back to sleep, which has never happened before, which is pretty awesome. I noticed a higher level of happiness. I also noticed that I wasn't taking naps. I had more energy. I was more in the moment with my kids. Like, we were laughing more. We were more excited. Every single person needs to feel this. I lost 10 pounds and 5.5 inches off my waist, and I'm so proud of myself. Thank you. by it 100%. I was on a handful of medications to help me sleep, to help me be happy. Tons of therapy. When I'm ready to go to sleep, I'm getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Lost some pounds, instead of me, my family has me that.
Get George's Power Pack, Accelerate, and Elevate, including free gifts each left for daytime weight maintenance. Plus, free shipping with promo code George. Accelerate, Elevate, free gifts each left, and now free shipping for one exclusive special price with George's Power Pack. Order now at healthylooking.com or toll free 800-394-9930. That's 800-394-9930. Jump on board now for better focus, less stress, a great full night's sleep, and weight loss with George's Power Pack exclusively at healthylooking.com. That's healthylooking.com. Here's something for every responsible gun owner, including your ability to use Master Sex. The Master Sex has improved shooting dramatically and is a must-have for every responsible gun owner. The Master Sex is a high-tech EUU system used extensively by the military that improves their ability quickly and gives them the confidence in their ability to protect what they care about. You attach the Master Sex to your firearm and connect with an app on your smartphone or tablet via Bluetooth, and it gives you instant feedback on what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, and how to correct your technique. And the Master Sex is like a firearms instructor in your pocket, where 94% of the people improve within 20 minutes using Master Sex. And the best part of all this is, use it at home. The best in the world do dry fire practice at home, and the Master Sex is the best way to train it. No driving to the range, spending money on range speeds and ammo. You simply save a ton of money and improve your ability. Start improving today. Get yours at mastersex.com. That's Master, M-A-N-T-I-S, mastersex.com. What if you could build a six-figure retirement income with almost half the money saved? You heard that right. Get a discount on your retirement, creating a six-figure income with 40% less than traditional 401ks and mutual funds. Hi, I'm Brett, the best-selling author and star in a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement discount to give you more retirement income with the same dollars saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. The market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. So if you're over 50 and want a bigger, better retirement with less money, call to get a free copy of this brand new movie, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, at 1-800-506-2020. This is a $30 value, but if you call today, you'll get it completely free, plus 2 hours of bonus behind-the-scenes footage. I'll even cover shipping and handling, no credit card required. So don't delay, call right now, 1-800-506-2020. That's 1-800-506-2020, 1-800-506-2020. And welcome back, Tony Topping with us, George Norrie back with you too. Tony, there's an alien abduction phenomenon situation. Is it like kidnapping?
Yes. Yes, it is, because you're against your will. You've been taken against your will. Constantly, throughout this, part of you, part of me anyway, part of me thinking this is not happening. And it's even presented to you as if it's not happening, but it is. And that's a very tricky thing to deal with. That really is. Including at the time, in years past when I've been under surveillance or being followed, and part of your mind going, that's not happening, but it is. And that's that's the thing that you try and get your head around. You try and live a normal life, George, but behind the scenes, things go on kind of thing. You try your best to live a normal life, but it's just not possible sometimes with all this.
And I've told in some cases, Tony, that they don't bring back the abductee, they keep them.
Yes. Now, I haven't heard evidence of that. I go in the opposite direction and add that they may keep aliens as guests from recovered UFOs. There's a possibility of that happening, that some of these aliens are actually guests of various governments if they recover them from down UFOs, to say the least. That is actually a possibility also.
And what's the next step for all of us? What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I think, George, with this is that the next step might be a sort of disclosure. They're coming out with a disclosure, with disclosing this. They're not telling you anything. They're just not saying anything about anything in particular. It's just all looping round in circles, and they're setting up this review and that. There's none dare call it areas. None dare say that these ETs are in the skies above us, and none dare say that aliens, the actions of aliens concern aliens. So it's not just the actions of humanity. So where we're going at the moment, George, I wish it was more positive, but it is as if we are being warned about environmental and nuclear disasters. We're being warned by them, so we're not being invaded. They're constantly warning us all the time, and warning at deeper levels as well. And this seems to be what's going on. I'm hoping, and I'm thinking my assessment, it will, how can I put it, humanity will learn, it's going to go Star Trek, we're going to go out there into the big wide universe. I think there's great hope, and I'm hoping that there's going to be peace on Earth. That's the biggest thing, because the last thing you want is nuclear confrontation. This is the last thing you want, and that it would be insane. It really would.
What is going on with the hybridization?
Well, yes, that I'm not sure of, because you get caught up in the drama of dealing with what you're dealing with. And in terms of hybrid, for example, I know that happened to me in my book. I got an image of my daughter. That was absolutely staggering moment. I was in a hospital, I had a hernia operation, and they appeared again and indicated that I had a daughter to them. And what got to me, George, about that is, from my personal experience, is that information has been kept from me. So I don't know how old she is now, I don't know where she is now, I know she's at Andromeda, but these operations do continue. And the problem with this is that the contact experience, I'm sure there are listeners out there who would appreciate this, is less short-stayed, with a lack of information. Business is business with them. It's not all peace and light, and you feel confident. And that's the brutal reality of being a contact experience, that you're not fed enough information, you're not really told a lot. I mean, even my experiences are staggering, but you're not really, there's a bit of caginess about it that I find a bit creepy. But I persevere and hope that that more information will come my way about it. And that's how it is. You just tell it like it is, George. That's how I feel about it at the moment. I get very disillusioned with it all, actually. At one point, I think maybe last month or 2 months ago, I just felt like packing it all in and walking away, because that's how it gets to you.
Yeah.
You wonder why. You do, certainly do. That's the
We're glad you're back. You're back, right?
Say that again.
We're glad you're back.
Well, thank you, George. Yes, because as I say, I was going to, but now I've found a bit of renewed vigour, and I'm just cracking on with things, and I'm very pleased to be carrying on with it, actually. I'm on a mission to educate, definitely. I find it more of a sense of public duty. I'm certainly not in it for the money, George. And I know there are people out there pulling a lot of money from this, but it's more of a sense of public duty.
Yeah.
Informing the public about what's going on.
We're calling Joe in Monterey, California.
For bringing this guest on, he's incredibly informed and experienced. One of the things that he wanted to know is why him. Well, that's his destiny to do this, and his life experiences have made him strong, so that he could overcome many of the things that will try to stop him, and his message and his warnings. The ETs are not, the positive ETs will not interfere. They can intervene on some cases, and some of the ones that you see in the sky, that disclosure from positive ETs, some of them are trying to wake up humanity, that they're not alone. Another thing that I was meant to say, oh yes, one of the ways that we can protect ourselves is developing ourselves spiritually, because they are interdimensional, and so are we. We are a spiritual race, and this is why they fear us, because we can become a type of deity in the universe. One of the callers mentioned about the Hindu, the gods of Hindu. Yes, they're real, they're very active. That's a race of beings that because they are deities, by the way. That's the evolution of soul. That's where we're going as a race. And the negative extraterrestrials want to stop us because they fear us. They actually do fear us. That's one thing that they fear the most. So developing yourself spiritually and contacting a spiritual hierarchy, which intervenes in his life, that incredible being of love, that's probably an off-duty of some kind. That's the level that they work on. They are above some of the extraterrestrials. We do have a spiritual order throughout the universe, and it's also on this planet as well as other planets and other races.
All right, let's get Tony's reaction to some of that, Tony.
Yeah, thank you for that. I concur fully with what you're saying. It is a deity issue. In fact, one of my first visions of it too was Hindu religion, the Lord Ganesha, the next to the reality god at age 2. So yes, absolutely bang on. And the fact that we are deities, yes, indeed, that is also present. And that can lead to consequences, but with power comes responsibility. So, very well informed there, very well informed indeed as to what goes on. I'd just like to ask George as well that there's a possibility, distinct possibility, that these beings are going to fly over again with the light show, and we'll get that filmed. I have a distinct possibility that will happen, and you'd be one of the first people to know when it does. It's ongoing all the time. I have to take it very easy because of PTSD, and it can be hair-raising and a bit unsafe sometimes, so you've got to be very careful with all that.
Lisa is with us in Portland, Oregon. Lisa, are you going to come to our show at the end of May?
I would love to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it.
Well, Bud, tell them about it. Maybe we'll get you a comp ticket.
It's just a person.
Oh.
I don't drive.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Okay, hi, Tony. I know that you had mentioned that you never really reached out for help, but once you did, that you were already known of. My question is about, well, they don't know everything that goes on in the universe, let alone our world. And your opinion, how would someone go about reaching out if they're like otherwise in the situation, reaching out for assistance of like invention or whatever was out there?
Can you reach out to them, Tony, and will they openly tell people things?
Yes, you can reach out to them, and yes, you will know about it if they turn up, but they're very picky. They are. I'm a flawed man, George. I'm not Mr. Perfect. I sometimes wonder why they pick me. But yes, you can, and you will know about it when they turn up. And the biggest thing to deal with is your first instinct will be, my God, we're being lied to, they're real. That's the first thing. My God, we've been lied to, they're real, they exist. And you will be no doubt that you will be unshakable in that belief or in that kind of foundation of what they showed you. They are real, and that's the thing that takes a bit of getting used to. I can never get used to the way they look with their eyes, George. I never get used to that. The woman of colour, for example, her eyes were cold and blue, grey. I haven't got the eyes quite right, but it'll do the job kind of thing, you know? Yeah, the eyes. You just never get around your head around that.
Blue is Siberian husky puppy, you know?
Absolutely, you got it well after it, yeah. Yeah, it is, George, absolutely right, yeah, yeah.
You see the Rockies, Ron's with us, truck driving in Texas. Hey, Ronnie, go ahead. You with us, Ron? Oh, truck driver was gone. Jeff in Durango, Colorado. Let's try you, Jeff. Go ahead.
Hi, Tony. Hello. Hey, you're doing great. You're doing great. Clear, great gravity, very elucidating. And, right on. I was curious. You had done in bar talk. All right. Okay. I'll just say this. When you're dealing with what I have to deal with, people online and what they're coming out with greatly different to what you've witnessed. Actually, I have no personal actual trial whatsoever, but that's what I'm not saying sign a class, by the way. I'm just saying that it's like a form of skill and valor. And what also gets on my nerves is contact experiences who I have spoken to who have their work plagiarized by big-name researchers for their own intellectual property.
They can slap their own name on it, don't they?
Yeah, they do, George. So, yeah, they do. And this is a common habit. That really irritates me. But no, I'm not really a big fan of the theory. I think the man's a very nice guy. I don't really know enough about him. No, I have to grind this time.
Let's take two more polls, and then we'll move on. Linda, Spokane, Washington, west of the Rockies. Hey, Linda, go ahead.
Hey, thank you, George, for taking my call.
Sure.
I think Star Trek, in every episode, explained and showed exactly what is going on with this society and so-called humanity.
Pretty real.
Yep. And every episode is exactly what we're into. I have a question for Tony and a comment. The question is, could this administration or these leaders actually be a dark alien race run by an overlord? I know they can look like people because there was a video of the head of Pfizer, the president, giving a talk.
All right, 45 seconds left. Tony, are some of our government leaders alien implants?
Listen, nothing's off the table. I think it's actually in the area of the dreamscape where it's all happening, what the religious words point to. I hope to have a Pamela Landy moment, George. I hope somebody would send me a file that said, I'm a Jason Bourne, or I'm a Jason, a file on me about all the people who want to see it.
Tony, you've been in touch with first time guest. You did a great job.
Thank you, George. It was an honor.
All right, keep in touch with our people. Tony Topping, his website is linked up at coasttocoastam.com. For Adam Thompson, Gina Salvati, Dan Galante, Tom Van Huysen, Lisa Lyon, Lex Bloomberg, Sean Robert Short, Stephanie Smith, Chris Paul, Tim Bernal, George Knapp, and Ian Hunter. I'm George Norrie, somewhere out there on Coast to Coast AM. We'll see you on our next edition. Until then, be safe.
I've tried a lot of language learning apps lately, and Rosetta Stone is hands down my favorite. I love that it teaches you phrases and scenarios in real-life conversations, and they have the best constructivity tool. It tells you how accurate your pronunciation is, so you can really nail your accent in almost any language you want, like Spanish, Italian, Chinese, and Korean. Or get access to all 25 languages for life with Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription. Check it out at rosettastone.com.
You should choose your air purifier like your life depends on it because, well, it's just life. The recent Ohio chemical disaster showed us toxic air threatens our airborne viruses, germs, and chemicals known to cause allergies, illness, and difficulty breathing. Even toxic fumes from the recent train derailment were no match for a ViralRabbi. A single ViralRabbi unit removed 99% of the dangerous compounds that were found at the homes near the chemical disaster. If it can clean the air after a toxic spill, imagine how it can help keep your family healthy. Only ViralRabbi comes with a free air quality monitor. Visit ekpure.com
Condoms and use the promo code Conway for 10% off your EnviroCleanse home purification unit. Plus, you get the free air quality monitor and fast free shipping. That's $150 savings. Visit ekpure.com, promo code Conway. ekpure.com, promo code Conway.
Are you feeling the stress of a car accident? Let the TRILLIONAIRE take the wheel and steer you towards the compensation you deserve. 93% of crash victims who use the lawyers said they'd do it again. And with the TRILLIONAIRE, you'll get the best of both worlds. Our legal expertise and a hassle-free experience. Don't just take our word for it. See for yourself what over 50 years of experience can do for you. Call Jacoby and Myers. Justice for you since 1972. Did you know that smart speakers can be used for more than just feeding all your info to Homeland Security? But no, you could open music to listen to us. Like KFI, AM 640.
Los Angeles, Orange County. Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. More land movement. I'm Bree Pettis in the KFI 24-hour newsroom. A portion of the 5 freeway near Cascade has collapsed due to a growing landslide. Part of the freeway closed. Caltrans says the landslide started Friday. They've moved in K-rail barriers, and they're monitoring. There's a new sinkhole on the 710 in Pasadena. The California Boulevard off-ramp is now closed. Full repairs expected by April 4th. LA Metro offering free express bus service to Dodgers home games. Service from Union Station will pick up fans about every 10 minutes. The season opener against the Arizona Diamondbacks is tonight at 7:10. The city of Newport Beach is trying to end fractional ownership. They say the practice is turning luxury homes into timeshares and party houses. Fractional ownership is usually split among 4 to 12 owners. The city says a modified ordinance is expected within the next month. The grand jury investigating former President Trump is taking a break. Lisa G reports. According to a report, the break is due to a previously scheduled hiatus which involves New York City schools spring recess. It also pushes back any potential indictment against Trump. The grand jury is hearing evidence involving alleged hush money payments that Trump made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in 2016 to cover up an affair. The break is expected to last at least a month. The Nixon Library in Yorba Linda has dedicated a new Vietnam War monument. This marking 50 years since the withdrawal of U.S. combat troops from Vietnam and the signing of the Paris Peace Accord. In San Diego, the Padres have pushed their season opener from 1:20 this afternoon to 6:40 tonight because of the rain. And Papa Noodles has launched breakfast ramen. They say it tastes like maple syrup pancakes, sausage, and eggs. You can get it now only at select Walmart stores for $1.18. Southline weather from KFI. Rain continues today with a chance for isolated thunder showers. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now it's 50 in Garden Grove, 47 in Mission Viejo. Highland checks in at 45 and at 44 in Northridge. Moving local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Pettis.
In London, this is on the 405 northbound at Hawthorne Boulevard. We have a crash picking up the carpool and left lanes. DAT is on the scene. Watch for delays as you approach this area. In Sun Valley, this is on the 5 southbound at Lancaster. Watch out, the right lane has to be flooded. DAT is on the scene. Watch for delays as you approach. In Colton, this is on the 10 eastbound before 9th Street. Little fender bender there, taking up the right lane. KFI in the sky. Hope to get you there faster. I'm Brian Van. How much do you think your home is worth this year? Do you think it's going to be worth the same next year? If you're thinking about borrowing on your home equity, your odds of getting more out of your home is probably higher now than it will be next year. I certainly believe that. Some experts predict that property values might decline over the next few years, making it more challenging for borrowers to tap into that home equity. If you need $75,000 or more, HMS Capital can help you borrow the money you need with the equity you built. So whether you want to consolidate debt, make home improvements, whatever your situation may be, HMS Capital may have the best solution to help you. No appraisal, credit report fees to apply. I've done 2 mortgages with HMS Capital. Clearly, I'm a fan. I believe they are simply the best for what they do. Call 833-255-5698, 833-255-5698. Visit hmscapital.com. No Matter What Is a brand new fiction podcast that marries supernatural horror storytelling with an immersive psychological thriller. Series 1 covers a chilling story and secrets that only the cage themselves. Without monsters, there are no victims.
iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. Get ready for iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert to celebrate their announcement of the Rhapsody Tour 2023, featuring a career-spanning set list with wall-to-wall immortal anthems. Encouraging tours, if I could put it that way. So you want to go where people want you. Tour tickets on sale Friday at LiveNation.com. Don't miss iHeartRadio Icons with Queen and Adam Lambert. Tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific on the free iHeartRadio app Classic Rock channel. Hey, Team Sharp, if you're planning on going solar or even thinking about going solar, then listen up. Time is running out to secure the best possible solar reimbursement with the state of California. Last year, the state and your utility company got together and changed the way new solar systems get reimbursed for the power they produce. And as you can guess, it's not as good for you and me. In fact, it's about 75% less than the old system. The good news is there is a grandfathering period, and you can still permanently lock in those amazing rates. But time is running out. The deadline to have your solar documents filed is April 14th. So how do you do that? You start by calling Sunlux and calling today. Sunlux will walk you through how to lock in the current rate. Even if you're not ready to install the system, it's okay. Call Sunlux and get your documents filed. There is no time to waste to lock in the best returns on solar power that you will ever choose. Start today at sunlux.com. Sunlux.com. CSLB 1008374. This is Jacob and Ronnie. If you've been in an accident, call 844-24-JACOB. KFI AM 640. This program has been pre-recorded. From the City of Angels, near the Pacific Ocean, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be across the nation, around the world. I'm George Norrie. This is Coast to Coast AM. Later tonight, evening visitors, happy birthday to Serena Wright-Taylor from the Conscious Life Expo. Have a great one, Serena. Here's what's happening. Pope Francis has a respiratory infection and will need to spend a few days in the hospital in Rome. The 86-year-old had breathing difficulties in recent days. They say he does not have COVID. It said that he needed a few days of appropriate hospital medical care. Get well, folks. China's expansion of its nuke arsenal is the most disturbing development that Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall has seen in his decades-long career, he told lawmakers. Kendall made the statement during a hearing before the House Appropriations Committee. He said with a 15-year U.S. military defense career that China's development into top-level nuke power is a major issue. Howard Bloom, author of The Global Brain, is with us, and I asked him to check into this. Howard, that's kind of disturbing for him to say that.
It's very disturbing, and he didn't just say that it's a problem. Again, he said it's the most disturbing thing he's seen in his 52-year career. Here's the deal. In 2022, China announced that they will triple its number of nuclear weapons by 2035. The Department of Defense took that announcement seriously. In a recent report on military and security developments in China, it said if China continues to pace its nuclear expansion, it will likely field a stockpile of about 1,500 warheads by its 2035 timeline. By contrast, the U.S. has 5,448 nukes, and Russia has 5,977. And yesterday, as was reported, Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall testified at a hearing before the House Appropriations Committee, saying, I don't think I've seen anything more disturbing in my career than the Chinese ongoing expansion of their nuclear force. And that's saying something. They pointed out his career that spanned more than half a century. For decades, Kendall said, the Chinese were quite comfortable with an arsenal of a few hundred nuclear weapons, with this fairly clearly effective strike capability to act as a deterrent. Kendall explains that expansion that they're undertaking puts us into a new world that we've never lived in before, where you have
powers, three great powers essentially, with large arsenals of nuclear weapons. Campbell understated the matter. Not only is China going for global dominance, but it is doing it in the smartest way possible. It's bringing with it its alliance, the axis of evil, an axis that includes three nuclear powers, and is about to include four: China, Russia, North Korea, and coming soon to appear near you, Iran. The West also has four nuclear powers: the United States, England, France, and Israel. So why is the Chinese buildup so disturbing? Campbell's observation that in the past China kept nuclear weapons only to deter a first strike implies something ominous. That with 1,600 nuclear warheads, China would be positioned for a preemptive strike, a first strike, a surprise attack. Fox News speculated 2 years ago that the surprise attack China could mount might be something of a kind we've never seen before. It would be an attack with hypersonic missiles launched by rockets that reach space, then drop their hypersonic vehicles on a 932-mile glide path. These rockets, other hypersonic weapons China now has, could glide so low and maneuver so swiftly and at such high speed that they could evade every kind of defense we've ever built. And said Dr. Peter Vincent Fry, chief of staff of the Congressional EMP Commission, China could hit us with, quote, a nuclear Pearl Harbor. A Pearl Harbor that could precipitate World War III. A nuclear attack that could wipe out all of our 150,000 forces in the Pacific and Guam, the Philippines, Japan, and South Korea. And an attack that uses nuclear weapons to take out all three of our 7 active aircraft carriers in the Pacific for a simple purpose: to take Taiwan. We would not respond with nuclear weapons out of fear of having our cities destroyed. The Chinese nuclear castration of America would be cheered by China's, quote, friendly nature, close quote, and strategic partners in the global south, in Central Asia, Africa, and South America. The shock and awe would establish China as the number one nation on earth, with the United States as a pathetic hazard. How do we prevent this? With big budgets for the development of hypersonic missile defense, and with what Campbell recommends: open lines of communication with Russia and China to prevent a nuclear war from starting by accident.
I was going to say, Howard, we need diplomacy.
Yeah.
Howard will think. If satellite internet providers like SpaceX's Starlink have their way, the skies are going to get a lot more crowded with their orbiting antennas in the coming years. So crowded that it's worth exercising a bit more skepticism about how many will actually get off the ground. Just last Sunday, British internet company OneWeb launched 3 dozen new satellites, completing a constellation of more than 600 such objects that ascended the low Earth orbit just above the planet that are powering the company's global internet service. That figure is only a tenth of the total number of satellites OneWeb has asked regulators for permission to eventually launch. Meanwhile, SpaceX has asked regulators to allocate nearly 30,000 satellites for Starlink. And Amazon has done the same for more than 7,700 satellites for its own planned satellite internet service. Those things are going to collide with each other eventually. During his meeting with the House Republicans, Federal Reserve Chairperson Jerome Powell did not explicitly predict the central bank will only raise interest rates one more time this year. What does that all mean for us? Let's check in with the registered investment advisor, Mitch Stubart. Mitch, is it going to get any higher?
It's 50-50, George. I looked at it tonight, and it didn't change from yesterday. So whatever happened at that meeting, we know it always leaks somewhere, but we don't know what it is. We don't know precisely what happened. So may have in and of itself bothers me. I don't think Powell should be meeting with the Democrats or Republicans, one without the other. I mean, doesn't the other party, doesn't Congress as a whole have a right to know what the Fed is thinking? I do. What's going to happen now? What's going to determine this? And by the way, the next meeting is just about a month from now, maybe. That's a Wednesday, so I'll be here. Is really going to depend on what the consumer CPI index does between now and the next month. It's also going to depend on something that we've not even discussed yet, and that's commercial real estate. We have the small banks exposure. We've discussed Silicon Valley Bank and others, but the regional banks are hugely exposed to commercial real estate. I just worked out the percentages right before this call. The small banks have a 28.6, large banks only 6.5, and with all the technology layoffs and all the work at home, commercial real estate is going to be hammered. That's a scenario that we need to watch. Also happens today, Michael Barr, that's the Federal Reserve Vice Chair for Supervision, he testified at the Senate Banking Committee today, and he disavowed any Fed's responsibility for these bank failures. And here's an interesting note. The Fed's adverse scenario stress test, let's call them stress free tests, George, because that's what they are. They envisioned the Treasury rate being near zero with the 10-year Treasury yield declining to 0.75%. That's how the Fed envisioned things. And if they would have done a stress test, on Silicon Valley Bank, of course it was going to pass because the stress tests are nonsense, George. I'll talk to you next week, Mitch. Good report. A former Google engineer has made a stark realization that humans will achieve immortality in 8 years. 86% of his 147 predictions have all been correct. Ray Kurzweil discussed the expansion in genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics, which he believes will lead to age-reversing nanobots. These tiny robots will repair damaged cells and tissues that deteriorate as the body ages and make it immune to diseases like cancer, he believes. In 8 years, we'll live forever. What do you think of that? In a moment, Stephen Quayle joins us. Take a look at his trailer that we have up at coasttocoastam.com under his name, Lives of Men and God. We're going to talk about that next on Coast to Coast AM.
Attention taxpayers. If you're facing IRS debt you can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of the new Taxpayer Relief Initiative to free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. You may qualify for significant tax savings. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number and store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax helpline at 800-508-0328. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or you even pay at 800-508-0328. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can tax your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security checks. Call 800-508-0328 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-508-0328. Real people, real stories.
So I had an appointment with the surgeon, and he was told me what all he was going to do, and it was just absolutely horrendous. I came home, I started on carnivora, and I called and canceled my surgery, and she said, "Are you going someplace else?" I said, "No, I'm taking care of it myself." She said, "Okay," and my problem on my skin went away.
I had bruising that's all over my arms, 3 weeks after I was on the carnivora, I noticed, I'm looking at my arms, and I said, "Gee, I don't have any bruises on my arms, but I'm always full of bruises." I can't put my finger on it, but I know something's happening. I have to tell you, that has to be a carnivora.
Call 866-836-8735. That's 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's CARNIVORA.com. Use coupon code GEORGE to get 15% off your order.
And welcome back to Coast, George Norrie with you. Stephen Quayle back with us, writer, researcher, more than a dozen books dealing with advances of ancient technology and civilization. His documentary film production company, Twin Six Productions, films the True Legend series. And his latest work, Lives of Men and God. It's an incredible series. The trailer is linked up at coasttocoastam.com, so take a look at it. truly remarkable. Here he is, Stephen Quayle. Steve, welcome back.
Well, thank you, George, and what is exciting to be on at this time and just listening to all of the intros. I mean, we're at an unparalleled time in history, so I'm really excited to be able to talk about what I think is the greatest revelation of the true alien/Egyptian civilizations that have existed on the planet that the Smithsonian and our government, including the military, have been covering up. And all of the recent investigations, in my opinion, are nothing but window dressing. So, we're watching, in my opinion, the unraveling of the greatest cover over in history, thousands of years. And as we put up on your website today, and thanks Lex for doing that, our expeditions in Mexico, central Mexico, have been going on now for 3 years. And right now we're moving into South America because what's interesting is that the Grand Canyon in the United States has the most, I would say, this unusual background history of any geological scientists, and most importantly, a Smithsonian scientist by the name of Kincaid and the Kincaid expedition that was featured in the Phoenix Gazette. So one thing leads to another, and in our ongoing investigation, Kincaid and his entire expedition has been denied by the Smithsonian. But in the last several weeks, people and certain individuals come forth and saying, you know why the Phoenix Gazette never carried anything further than the 1909 expedition? And it was because the owner, a man by the last name of Webb, received $1,500 in cash to basically agree not to run any more of the stories on what was found in Grand Canyon. That's equal to $50,000 in our time right now, George.
What a story. By the way, the trio of Elijah's men and God is simply superb. You did a great job with that.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The trio is just fantastic.
Oh, thank you very much. Some people say, well, why do you do such a long trailer? Well, it's because of minutes, and so in the trailer, we pretty much go from the flying saucers to our real-time finds in Mexico. And by the way, we documented everything. When we were digging down to a 9-foot level, we would locate everything by ground position radar, ground penetrating radar, and some of the geopositioning radar. And we absolutely were able to target different artifacts, and we dug them up in real time. That's called, provenance, or more importantly, authenticity. And it's phenomenal that some of the things that are on your Coast to Coast website that Lex put up, we're watching alien depictions, we're watching Egyptian god depictions, we're watching flying saucers, and we've got so many artifacts, and also from all over Mexico, Latin America, and Latin America and Central America and South America. People have been contacting us, and it's fascinating whether there's a flood or there's an explosion, a landslide. So many artifacts are turning up, and what's interesting, in around 54, actually early 50s, a gentleman, a German named Jarlswood, basically had his own little museum and had tens of thousands of artifacts. And they depicted some of the most unusual things: aliens, flying saucers, cryptozoological creatures, everything literally from Mothman, obviously, that didn't most people didn't know existed, to werewolves similar to the Skinwalker Ranch. And the Smithsonian sent a team down there, and it was interesting that they claimed that they looked at 20,000 artifacts in, a matter of hours, 3 or 4 hours, and claimed they're all fake. Well, guess what? They couldn't have seen that many, and so they have been the gatekeepers. And as you know, I've been talking about that since you and I have been talking on Coast to Coast for now. I think it's almost going on, 15 years?
20 years.
20 years, wow. Well, and that's astonishing because, again, if people would understand that everything nowadays is a controlled narrative, that entire UAP hearing at Congress, and we deal with what we're taking in the trailer, is giving you the viewers a vast presentation of what the official narrative is, and then what we believe is the real narrative. And one of these days, and I don't know when that day is going to come, people are going to say, based on the preponderance of evidence, what does the government and the governments of the world gain by keeping all of their artifacts, and Egypt is a prime example. The United States government has paid off just about every government in the world, and as we're losing our influence, we're going to also lose the ability to keep paying the billions of dollars to buy silence. And I believe that the fines in Mexico supersede so many of the fines, and actually South America too, that it's going to become so obvious that people can't deny it any longer. It means the presence of aliens, the presence of Egyptians, the presence of genetic engineering. And on one of the operas that's kind of a short MP4 movie that's on Coast's website, is we show the 4 different phases of it, and you've got everything from the Egyptian gods, you have Anubis, and what's phenomenal, we're the only film production, this isn't bragging, but we're the only film production company that ever interviewed somebody that's been in the secret warehouses of the Smithsonian, and we're showing the giant bones taken out of the Grand Canyon, showing Egyptian artifacts taken out of the Grand Canyon, and what's fascinating is that the gentleman who we got an an interview on the film, he even talked about the fact that Anubis, Horus, that some of these, if you will, human being torsos, but the different heads. He said, I saw those these in vats of preservative, what you formaldehyde or whatever. And what's astonishing, he talked about the size of the vats. So in essence, these weren't normal guys running around with unintended bird brains. But the thing is that these were very strange creatures. And the Smithsonian, most people don't know this. I'm not talking about the one that's in Washington, D.C. I'm talking about the various warehouses that could be only likened to the scene in the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first one where, the Ark of the Covenant is being placed in a vast warehouse. Fortunately, though, the Smithsonian annexes, and they're incredibly complex, have everything in a really great categorization. And I think what's important, George, in this is that we're talking about also all of the Native Americans I've interviewed on camera and screen, talked to off camera and screen. Cliff Mahooty, obviously, has passed away. But there is none of the people we've talked to that are foreign to the idea of Stargate, the gates of the gods. They did use Stargates in the Grand Canyon. I think most people have heard me say it before, but 90% of the Grand Canyon is off limits. You can't go there. And the control of that area is phenomenal. Cliff Mahooty, when he was alive, told me that he personally watched giant mummies taken out of the Grand Canyon.
Now, what does that tell you? What's the significance of the Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon?
Yeah, well, the significance is that according to the Smithsonian and according to John Wesley Powell, the famous, Lake Powell and the curator of the Smithsonian, the Egyptians didn't travel around the world. There's only one problem with that. They traveled all over the world and they left their signals. Now, this is the biggest thing. Even Cairo, the Egyptian city capital, is known as the encampment of Mars, M-A-R-S. I think we've got somebody coming on talking about Mars. And Mars plays such an important part in all of the artifacts along with Saturn. Now, they weren't called Mars and Saturn. I want to make that clear. I'm defining them as Mars and Saturn. But when you show a planet with the rings around it and other planets, and you can place it in our, solar system, it's fascinating. So why the Egyptians is because the Egyptians, by their ancient revelations and their the high priest of Say, S-A-I-S, in Egypt, talked about the many cataclysms, but also all the advanced knowledge that the ancients had prior to the flood of Noah and prior to the creation of Adam and Eve, this period known as the pre-Adamic period. It was so astonishing that even Plato, who talked about Atlantis, was, instructed by Socrates, the high priest, and so we go to the...
Hold on for a second, Stephen. We're at the half. We'll be right back.
Don't forget to watch our TV show, Beyond Belief, with George Norrie. Simply go to beyondbelief.com.
I'm Bree Tennant for the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The Inglewood Transit Project will require 40 businesses to relocate. The transit connector will cost $1.6 billion, but officials say it will improve air quality and alleviate traffic. Pope Francis is in the hospital. He has a non-COVID respiratory infection. He's 86 years old. The Vatican says he will be in the hospital for a few days. The FDA has approved Narcan spray for over-the-counter use. The nasal spray can reverse an overdose of fentanyl, heroin, or prescription painkillers within 30 to 90 minutes. Naloxone will be on store shelves in a couple of months. The Dodgers take on the Arizona Diamondbacks for their season opener tonight at 7:10, and the Padres have pushed their season opener from 1:20 this afternoon to 6:40 tonight because of the rain. Southbound weather from KFI. Rain continues today, moving out late afternoon. Highs in the mid to upper 50s. Right now it's 50 in Fullerton, 50 in Seal Beach, 48 in Malibu, and 46 in Corona. We lead local from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Bree Tennant.
In West Clothing and eastbound as we have air day. We have a Skull Semi taking up a right lane there. You drive is bumping up as you approach this area. Downtown LA, we have good news. Further effect on the 10 eastbound at the 110 has been cleared from lanes. Your drive is recovering in that area. And just Long Beach, this is on the 405 northbound right before the 710. We have a pass pick up the 3 right lanes there. Speed is on the way. Doesn't matter why you're moving, or maybe even inheriting a home. Now what you do? Usually you go to a real estate agent, 6%, and you're told to clean and paint and repair, and buyers are going to walk through. The house has to be pristine. And if you don't live there, you don't need any of that. How about getting a fair price for your home without any of that hassle? DirectBuyers.com will do exactly that. DirectBuyers.com, a local family-owned business, Janet and Matt, brother and sister. I love the way they do business. Now, there are a lot of schmucks out there in this business. I'm going to suggest you call the DirectBuyers.com. They'll never lowball you. They'll give you an honest, no-obligation offer, even if it's yours.com.
On the podcast, Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman, the Stanford neuroscientist explores how brain science intersects with our lives, passions, and behaviors. This deep dive into the unexpected facets of our brain science will help you to see the world differently. I'm going to explore the relationship between our brains and our experiences by tackling unusual questions. Listen to Inner Cosmos with David Eagleman on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts. You probably already know that Rosetta Stone is one of the best ways to learn a language. But did you also know that they offer a lifetime subscription to all 25 of their languages? Dabble in French, try your hand at German, learn a bit of Japanese, or even explore Swedish. And right now, you can get 40% off Rosetta Stone's lifetime unlimited subscription. You've learned KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk. Forget about civil rights. Forget about they say people should have the same rights as the rest of us. How about what do you care? Like the couple next door to you is gay? No, that's horrible. They're great wrestlers. Bill Handle. No, I was intimidated because they would always look better than me. Of course. Live 6 to 9 a.m. on KFI and on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. guest, Stephen Quayle. We're going to take calls with Stephen next hour as we talk about these ancient artifacts. Much more to talk with him about. When we come back on Coast to Coast AM, May 27th, we will be at the Dome in Oregon, that incredible place with the live theater at the Granada Theater, our live show with Dr. Sky, Stephen Tate, Travis Walton, who was abducted, and the Bigfoot Hunter, SBU Moneymaker. Looking forward to that with a live band. Come on out. Full information, coasttocoastam.com in the event section or in the highlights. And now here's something for you to build up your immunity.
HealthyLooking.com and Dr. Alan Millay bring 4 decades of experience and natural products for the exclusive stem cell wellness kit that works with your body's stem cells to assist your immune system. Here's Dr. Millay with more.
Whether it's physical activity, obesity, diet, smoking, low on hormones, stress, sleep disorders, or your age, can be supported by reducing inflammation and aiding the body to heal itself appropriately. A stem cell is a cell waiting to be told what it needs to be. If there is inflammation, that inflammation needs to be stopped. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney disease, various types of cancer, depression, Alzheimer's disease, autoimmune disorders, osteoporosis, even fatty liver are chronic signs of inflammation and can be aided by supporting the body's ability to protect those cells that it needs. And that is the purpose of InStem and adaptive stem together, supporting the body to see the best it can do.
Dr. Millay, how will I feel after taking adaptive stem and InStem?
The InStem is going to have an immediate effect, but I guarantee that your immune system is starting to function better after 24 hours. If you put adaptive stem along with it, you will feel it in 30 minutes.
Order now at HealthyLooking.com. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit from Dr. Millay protects your body's stem cells and will make you feel better faster. The Stem Cell Wellness Kit with adaptive stem and InStem and your pre-gift relax doll is only available at HealthyLooking.com or toll free at 800-563-3980. That's 800-563-3980. Don't forget to enter promo code George for free shipping. George is Stem Cell Wellness Kit at HealthyLooking.com. That's HealthyLooking.com.
Marvelous Entertainment and author Marvin Sunderland have released the newest in-action adventure science fiction that specifically deals with the question, are we alone in the universe? This action-packed drama includes a 7-novel masterpiece, comic books, video games, and movies of Sergeant Waggott's journeys across the universe. Get this novels enter coupon code Coast to Coast, all lowercase on Marvelous.com. That's MARVALEOUS.com. This banking crisis really has depositors and investors in a frenzy. If you have not done so already, now might be a great time to diversify into gold and silver. You can purchase gold and silver directly at BullionMax.com/coast, and they will ship it directly to your home, fully insured. And right now, Bullion Max is offering free shipping on any order over $199. In this extremely volatile market, protect your family savings with gold and silver at BullionMax.com/coast.
Real people, real stories.
So I had an appointment with the surgeon, and he just told me what all he's going to do. After I was on the carnivore, I noticed, I'm looking at my arms, and I said, I don't have any bruises on my arms, but I'm always full of bruises. I can't put my finger on it, but I know something's happening. I have to tell you, that has to be a carnivore.
866-836-8735. 866-836-8735. Or visit carnivore.com. That's CARNIVORA.com. Use coupon code GEORGE to get 15% off your order.
And welcome back to Coast. George Story with you along with Stephen Quayle. And Stephen, we were talking about why the Grand Canyon for some of these artifacts.
Well, first of all, the most interesting thing about the Grand Canyon is the presence of stargates. The most universal symbol around the world is a spiral. And when we've done the different places, looking from every place in South America, Sardinia, Malta, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, into Zimbabwe. I haven't been there, neither has my team, but the bottom line is the presence of the spiral indicates a stargate. Now, what most people don't understand is all over the world, the standard description of a stargate, a portal, is the fact that they are the gateways to the gods. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Back to Professor Kincaid. He evidently was taught and instructed how to operate the gate. Now, how could we know that unless it was journaled? And how can we know he even had a journal, except someone who has seen the journal is, privileged to that information? So George, basically, Kincaid kind of disappears off the scene, and he shows up in South America and looking at the different artifacts and the different things. And with our project in Mexico and all of the things that we've done in Mexico, even to the point of finding devices that activate gates. Now, I want to make it clear, I'm not out trying to open the gates to hell, okay? They'll open on their own. But what is fascinating is the amount of information that is given in the different glyphs, the symbols, the different iconography that's on some of the different artifacts.